That's noiseworthy.
Welcome to the middle of the week. It's Wednesday. This year is just going by so fast, even in the pandemic. October the 21st. And Brett, I have a note here to the Big 12. The Tigers Central Florida football game, 2:30 Central Time Saturday, drew a 1.1 rating. The week before, Texas Tech, Iowa State, same time slot, drew a 0.9. You know, maybe Memphis and Orlando could be attractive television markets for the Big 12.
For sure, Dave. I don't think there's even a maybe there. We know the passion of our area for about anything football, about anything sports for that matter. We win in the ratings. And it's why what we do is so very competitive. And there's, come one, come all. A lot of people doing it, a lot of people doing it well because there's a market for it here. And it always has been. I love when we win kind of the throwaway, and I shouldn't have said throwaway. That undercut my point. I love when we win something like the Chelsea Leicester game from soccer.
Yeah.
When we'll have the
right.
biggest Southern rating for it, and then we'll have the big rating for the. We'll always be one of the largest non-NFL cities for Super Bowl and playoff markets, and we're always in the running for. Top 4 or 5 for NBA All-Star game market.
You're right. And
Birmingham, too.
And of course, these numbers are national numbers, that 1.1 rating. So there was enough interest throughout the country in
that's right. That's a better point.
The kind of football that is played by both Memphis and UCF. And all you have to do is go back all these years. We were talking about the rivalry despite it being one-sided because the games have had so much meaning and they've been so entertaining and so close. And people tuned in for that reason, and they beat them. And I'm not saying it's by a mile, but there is, it's a fifth of a point here.
It's a scoreboard. It's a W. And Dave, you make the better point, but together we make the point of if you're passionate about it locally and you draw nationally, why wouldn't someone be very interested in you? And I think they are. And I don't want to start a round of high hopes and getting people's hopes, way up on conference realignment. But we also know the economic toll from this has not been toted up entirely yet, and I think that will signal changes near and far.
Well, that sort of is along the lines of why I decided I was going to send that note to the Big 12 today, just in case that is where all of this is heading. I thought for a little bit they might even go to 8 teams this year because of that financial predicament. But the College Football Playoff Committee decided they were going to hold the line at 4 for the near future, and
they're holding it through the life of that contract.
I guess so. And I was trying to remember, how many more years are left on that deal?
24 or 25, or do I have 24 and 25 in my head about every contract? I don't know.
Well,
I tried, Dave. I tried to wing it. Look what I did to myself.
I know 2025.
I'm not sure.
2025, I believe, if we're talking about, and we meant to bring this up with Rod Tiller yesterday. That's when I think the start of clauses in contracts with the Grizzlies and the city and FedEx Forum.
Now, off the air, Ron explained to me, and we didn't get to it yesterday, but Ron explained to me that that's already started, and it's annual now that could be imposed, that could be implemented, that codicil could be played on.
It is, if
I mean they will.
Right. And as I recall, and again, I am not going to claim that I'm an expert on this one at this point, but it seemed to me I had lodged in my head that it really did not make any fiscal sense. In other words, it was so penal financially to ownership if they tried to get out of the lease prior to 2025. After 2025, it's not that punitive. That's kind of what I remember.
I think so. And what I and we collectively need to do is we need to get with somebody on a lot of these dates. We need to get with somebody on Cardinals, Redbirds, player or working agreement, minor league affiliate agreement. We need to get with how long AutoZone still own AutoZone Park. We need, and I know FedEx at FedEx Forum is somewhere here in the out years, not too far away.
Well, that was
I need to find out from somebody and get all that and have all these dates down, because when you sign them, you think, oh, that's way out there.
Right, sure.
Way out there, it gets here. I'm gonna go Yogi. Way out here, it gets here fast.
Well, let's. I think we can do the math on this one. FedEx Forum opened 21 years ago. Is that right?
Open fall of 2004.
Okay, so it opened 16 years ago. That's right. That makes more sense because I think it was a 20-year deal, not a 25-year deal. So
1, 2, and 3 were started at the Pyramid, and then starting in November of 2004, because it was right after Election Day. I remember going to the game, and we were still a little bit hanging Wednesday and Thursday on the results in 2004. Remember, John Kerry didn't concede till about Thursday.
Right.
They were toting it up in Ohio.
I think I think that deal would be up in 2024. I think it was a 20-year naming rights, which, by the way, Michael Heisley spent right away. You remember that and the controversy that was surrounding that when he did it?
Yeah. And he took his money up front as he was legally entitled to. Mm-hmm. I didn't blame him then, don't now.
No. But Robert Parra never was able to take advantage of any of that bread because it was already pretty much in the pocket of Michael Heisley. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
when the cash went in Mike Heisley's pocket, it wasn't coming back out.
I don't even know how long AutoZone Park has been around for a long time. You would have think it
opened in 2000.
So, well, that could have been a 25-year deal, and
I don't know.
It could be up in 2025.
I'm not going to throw dates around because I don't know, but we need to tack all that down good. And Dave, I'm sorry to start this dour on a subject, and I kind of started it. I'm scared there won't be a pitch thrown at AutoZone Park next summer.
I don't know the answer to that. You would think that by March and April or even May, if they had to back it up, by then, with all of the treatments and vaccines that are in the works and the amount that are in the trial stages, and with the acceleration that the FDA and all the CDC and everybody else has gone through with all of this, I would get the sense that we would have something that would make us feel closer to normal to allow us to go to games. But even if we do that, even if all that is sailing along pretty nicely, remember, next year is when Major League Baseball basically takes back over the minor leagues. It's not going to be Avron Fogelman or David Hirsch or a group or Dean Jernigan or Peter Freund, kind of taking up all those bills. It's going a lot of them are going to fall to the major league team. I think from the labor trouble, baseball is going to start. I will say now, I'll be shocked if baseball plays 162 next year. I think they play, but I'll be shocked if it's 162, and they will take another year of just letting minor league suffer and then try to maybe reform in 2022 and not take that financial hit of having to kind of prop that up next year. You're going to have to explain this to me, or we'll get Peter Freund down, or we'll get somebody who is
good luck
attuned to minor league baseball and understands all the latest nuances. I knew that they were basically contracting. So single-A ball clubs probably aren't going to exist. There'd be maybe a couple of double-A's, and the triple-A's would still be around. Now, you're telling me something I really was not aware of, that the ownership of AAA will no longer be the AAA ownership, so that Peter Freund
not entirely, not entirely, and I don't even know that it will be AAA. I don't know if they're going to call it that. And Memphis is going to be somewhere in the mix. That's why we need to get player or working agreement not nailed down too, because Memphis is going to be somewhere in the mix, but it might not be the top level. It may be because of the great ballpark and the proximity to Memphis. They love all that, but they love Springfield too, and it's got proximity and it's got a great ballpark. I don't know that they'll call it double and triple A, but they're kind of getting away from being in Peoria. They're not playing Flatbush anymore. They're not playing Smallville. A lot of the Southern League teams are going to be mowed down. Some of the Texas League teams in Double A, it's really going to be refashioned. I don't know that they have the time or the desire or the economic will to want to do it for next year and just do it like they did this year, where you basically have a off-site training area.
I don't.
That's my speculation.
Yeah, I don't know this either, but if Springfield were to be the position where they put players who are about to become major leaguers, and
like they did this year,
and then Memphis is basically taking a step back, you would go here to go to Springfield. I don't know that goes over after all these years that Memphis has now been the AAA or the spring
Dave,
off place.
I hate to be this blunt, but how many people you making mad? Because there's a lot of nights there's only about 2,500 to 3,000 there.
Oh,
and
that's
Springfield
true.
draws a lot better. And I don't take any glee at all in saying that. I missed going to Redbirds games as much as anything I've missed this calendar year due to the pandemic. It's one of my favorite things, and I'm there all the time because I love baseball. I have people ask me, why are you here all the time? I love baseball. That's why I'm here, and the affiliation with my team, with the Cardinals. And it's just been nobody there the last few years, and that's just being blunt.
Well, I can't dispute that. The few times that I go per year, I have not seen major crowds. You know what? You see major crowds when there's fireworks. The most amazing thing to me in the world. Spend a little bit of
fireworks,
money on
holidays,
fireworks, and you got folks coming to the ballpark.
Yeah, you got pretty good Saturday crowd, but I mean, you can go to that Tuesday night in June, and it is just. If they'd kill the music, you could converse across the field, from third base to first base.
So Springfield actually, in the past, a Double-A ball club, they have outdrawn Memphis.
I didn't say outdrawn. I would say they draw well. I don't know that they have the totality, but you give them that cachet of the top level, I think that would be all they would need.
Interesting. Well, we will try to figure out a little bit more. In the meantime, I can tell you the Rays better try to figure out how to hit the Dodgers, and Snell tonight.
To get them out.
Snell tonight better be something else, because Cody Bellinger, and it was, I'm kind of pulling for Tampa, for TJ, who will be on with us in a little bit, and just for the underdog thing. I mean, let's face it. When you've got a $220 million team
payroll thing
up against a $60 million team.
We're going to play a little class warfare, aren't we?
Yeah. But I felt good for Kershaw last night. I really did.
I did too.
I'm
for Tampa Bay. I want them to win, but I'm not dug in, and it ruined my night because the Dodgers went out there and belted them. John Harden in his close, he nailed it. The Dodgers had that kiss with death. They had that near-death experience. They got to the edge. He called it the abyss, and they looked into the fiery gates of hell. Down 3-1, they beat Kershaw. They got their two aces set up, and the Dodgers came back from that. Usually, like the Red Sox coming back from 3-0, usually when you come back from that, you're kind of Destiny's Child.
Well,
I felt that with the Cardinals against the Red Sox that year, that I think we're trying to get in the way of something that's bigger than us.
I'm not going to dispute any of that, but I'm going to tell you the Rays looked into that same abyss. They had a 3-0 lead, and people were talking about those Boston Red Sox that knocked off the Bambino curse because the
Astros weren't the Dodgers.
The Astros were the only team besides those Boston Red Sox that had ever come from a 3-love deficit to force a Game 7. So I think Tampa has looked into that abyss as well, and I'm not going to write them off after one game. But I felt good.
We'll see tonight in the
Clayton Kershaw is a guy who's really struggled. Although, what surprised me, because we often talk of his travails in postseason, did you see that he is third all time in strikeouts in postseason? That shocked me.
He's been he's been effective. He's just had some tough luck losses and some tough luck starts in the postseason. But last night he was dynamite, and their batting approach, man, they don't throw an at bat away. It's impressive. Hey, Tennessee, if you want to enjoy betting on it, you can, because sports betting is almost here. And FanDuel Sportsbook giving you an exclusive offer to get started right now. FanDuel Sportsbook giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. NFL tomorrow night, the World Series last night and tonight. All the college sports, FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. I love my app. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. Lock it in on Snell tonight and the Rays. And unlike other sports books, once you win FanDuel, they get you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so that they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them up at 901-362-8833. Star our sun-splashed afternoon for you to go over to Ridgeway and buy one of those beautiful cars. Lexus of Memphis offering up the golden opportunity. October sales event. Dave said it. Here goes the year already, October 21st. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. Again, the only Lexus dealership in town. And put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, I got some good news, some bad news. So I'm going to start with the bad news as the big story here. There will be no AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Classic, which I think a lot of the Shelby County school kids were kind of counting on. But there's the good news. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl had a press conference today. Steve Earhart will be with us at 5:30 to talk more about it. No All-Star game, but they will have an NFL-style combine on Friday, November the 13th, and Saturday, November the 14th for the 35 Shelby County schools that play football and also the other 19 who are participating, like Christian Brothers, who you can hear at Conway, Arkansas, this coming Friday, or MUS, or any of those, St. Benedict, ECS, all the teams that are playing. So the normal schools that would play in the All-Star game are now going to be a part of this combine. They are partnering with Shelby County schools, but it does include all of the metro area programs.
And also one of our great sponsors also partnering with Conway, right?
It could be.
I saw that at the Liberty Bowl Twitter site.
Very good. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that part, but I'm glad that you saw it. We always love to talk about John Conway.
Excuse me, because I don't want to get the fine at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Twitter site. I do not want to get the fine from Harold or Steve or from our friend Bill Rhodes. Yes. Because we love AutoZone and we love the connection, and we're sincere when we say that. My top story, and just like that, Clayton Kershaw changed his entire postseason image, doesn't he? Dodgers up 1-0. It was fairly easy. Too much Kershaw. And as Joe Buck noted, all 5 tools. If there was a 6th tool that Mookie Betts could have displayed, I think he would have done it last night. Best player in the game, and I think will be the face of the game after this World Series, and that's good for baseball. We need that.
He does play with a very infectious, positive passion. You can't help but see the joy in his face. But when you steal second and you steal third and then you slide in to beat a throw from to get to home, that is something.
And when he did that, And when he did that, he joined Babe Ruth from the 1921 World Series as the only players to do that. If there's a World Series nugget, Babe Ruth's in the middle of it. Either pitching, hitting,
incredible.
Stealing. It's incredible.
I never knew
biggest figure in the history of the game.
I never knew the stealing part because he was such a big rotund figure. Exactly. You know what?
I think I could have outrun him.
And you mentioned John Harden a little earlier. John Harden's insight into baseball, I thought was eye-opening when he was talking about the Dodgers being the best left-handed hitting ball club. They hit lefties better than anybody else. And that is a problem for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Not top story of the day.
Well, those are the Shelby County numbers. Those are COVID numbers all over the place. Apparently, there was a stay-at-home order for a few days at the University of Michigan. Here they are getting ready to start playing football. I don't think it's going to affect their game, but they've had an outbreak in their county, and so there's a stay-at-home order for a day or two in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Arlington football program has ceased activities for a while as well because of some COVID cases at Arlington High School. So it's still here. We had 227 new cases, so we have now surpassed 35,000 in Shelby County. 2 new deaths, so we're at 556 there. And here's the worst part, 2,000 tests at 11.4% positivity. That's the first time I can remember in several weeks getting to double-digit percentile positivity. We had 13,000 new cases in the United States, 8.5 million cases now, 226,000, over a 250,000 who have perished. And worldwide, 41 1/3 now. They had 306,000 new cases worldwide. So this is not going away. We've had 30 million recoveries, but we've had 1,130,000 who have perished.
My not top story, just 2 days before the Big Ten debuts. They debut Friday night with Lovie Smith in the Illini at Wisconsin. And then on Saturday, 6 games, Nebraska at Ohio State, Rutgers at Michigan State, Penn State at Indiana, Iowa at Purdue. Purdue's coach not able to be there.
Right.
He's in isolation. Michigan at Minnesota. That's where game day's going.
Right.
And Maryland at Northwestern. And, Dave, nothing says Big Ten football like the Terrapins visiting Evanston.
Well, that's only in the last couple of years, correct?
But I'm glad they're playing. I didn't want to crush the Big Ten. Again, I'll say what I said back when they decided to restart. I can't imagine college football's history without the Big Ten in it. I wouldn't want to. Come on in. I'm glad they're playing.
You know what? And the Michigan-Minnesota game is a good start.
Elimination game.
Yeah, well, and you got
P.J. Fleck trying to row that boat.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh trying to fend people off with boat oars.
Yeah, you're row the boat guy. That's exactly where I was going with that, and I think that'll be a good game. And, I almost think that the Big Ten was punitive when they made this schedule out. They were not happy with the way Nebraska was speaking and pushing and shoving and threatening. And so they said, okay, first game, you're going to be out of here.
Get you some.
You've got Ohio State.
At the Horseshoe.
Scott Frost, hello. This one's going to be tough for you.
That game came out as 21.5-point favorites for Ohio State. It's already gone up to 26.
Man. I do want to let everybody know we'll be busy. We'll talk a little World Series from a guy in Tampa. TJ Reeves, our weekly guest from down in Tampa, the Buccaneers sideline reporter. He will join us in just a little bit. Then Barrett Jones on the SEC and college football at 4. Our Professor Rick Horrow with us today at 4:30 on the Biz of Sports. And then Tim Brando, how about that, from Fox. He'll join us at 5. He's pretty happy that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are playing football. And then Steve Harrod from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, he will join us, and he'll talk about that press conference today where they are now going to have a combine in place of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star game, but the combine to make sure, or to help, I should say, the 35 Shelby County schools get some exposure for their seniors who just didn't get a chance to play high school football this year. We are officially on this Wednesday underway on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
DQuil Pure Z's all-night bilayer tablets help you fall asleep naturally and regulate your sleep cycle so that you can take on your tomorrow. Designed with extended-release melatonin, which slowly releases up to 6 hours to help you fall asleep and stay asleep longer through the night. ZQuil Pure Z's botanical blend is made with lavender, chamomile, valerian root, and lemon balm botanicals, which have been used for centuries. ZQuil Pure Z's all night. Simple tablets with simple ingredients that are 100% drug-free and non-habit forming.
36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit. Excludes ACQ fee, $10,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee. Forte ME 275,992, MSRP 20,510. Sold L706 3372, MSRP 21,885. K5 MG 003,199, MSRP 25,725. K900 MSRP 65,610. L60 26,907. L60 21,220. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax final license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Where can you find best mass market branded initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers? We Gossett and Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. Take your pick. 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. 2021 Kia K5 beats Toyota Camry with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume, plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. $189 a month lease for 36 months, all just $31.49 due at signing. Plus 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So come get happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for a table at a restaurant.
Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, party... Oh, there you are.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, in a couple of weeks we'll have something new to talk about, but I want you to really get in there and take advantage of the 30% off on spas and swim spas. Now for about 6 weeks they've been saying it's the world's biggest spa sale. They're not kidding. If you ever go in there, you look around, first of all, you get impressed by the beauty and the size of the store alone. And now these swim spas, they're huge. The other spas are all high-tech, and you've got hundreds of different ones to choose from multiple manufacturers. The big common denominator is that they're state-of-the-art, and there is special financing available, and there's special pricing right now in chemicals because we are starting to see the pool season come to a close. Great prices on accessories, too. always professional delivery is available. All you got to do is get there, I-40 and Whidden Road. Let them do the rest to make your backyard or your patio your staycation place. During this pandemic, that's family leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road. To Tampa we go, and I'm here for you. I don't want you to be walking any ledges or anything like that. After that just was a display of the Dodgers with a $220 million payroll to the Rays' $6 million payroll. It was not good looking at all last night. I just realized I wrote this
That's
note
a shot in itself.
I wrote this.
All I know is right now you cannot get me down because the common denominator between the Stanley Cup, the World Series, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers
it's
potentially
good.
being in the Super Bowl still has me excited.
Well, let me ask you it like this. I just realized I wrote down in my notes, Dodgers look like the best team in baseball. They ripped the Rays, but the way I wrote it, it's almost like rest in peace. So I
The only thing that I'm going to say before we have Game 2 tonight.
I'm pulling for you. I just want you to know that.
Something that I have said repeatedly this entire resumption of sports with the Lightning with the Stanley Cup, with the Bucks after the opening game with the Saints. I came on this show and, the Chicken Little, the sky is falling in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. And the Tampa Bay Lightning were a perfect example of this. One game does not a 7-game series make.
Bingo.
Especially in these quirky playoffs that they've been playing for hockey previously, basketball now completed, and this series. The Lightning lost the first game to the Boston Bruins and to the New York Islanders and then went right on to win the 7-game series. The Lakers lost Game 1 to Portland, and everybody's going, see, this whole bubble thing, Portland's going to beat them as an 8 seed, blah, blah, blah. Again, the Dodgers lost the first 2 to Atlanta. This time last week, the Dodgers were down 0-2 at this very time right now. And I'm not saying the Rays can do this because I don't think they have the firepower. But the Dodgers scored 11 runs in the top of the first inning and turned that whole series in their favor, at least for one game, and won. I still haven't figured out how Atlanta couldn't win a game out of the last 3, except that it's maybe the Atlanta sports curse that they all believe in right now. But, hey, one game is not a series make. Let's see what Game 2 looks like tonight. It's a scrappy Rays bunch. They're not supposed to win. But then again, here, the way that they have depth of relief pitching and more, this could be, especially if they win tonight, now you're guaranteed at least 5 games. This could be a very intriguing 4th, 5th, 6th game with pitching. Let's see what happens.
Look,
TJ, I swear I'm not trying to be a wise guy when I ask this question, but we know there are Dodger fans everywhere. And I know Tampa, St. Pete's not that close to where Dodger Town was, but the Dodgers have had some Florida presence for a long, long time. In Tampa, St. Pete, more Rays fans than Dodger fans or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this area has massive amount of interest and fans. Now, not necessarily those that would be at the stadium year after year after year for a myriad of reasons that we've discussed. But, I mean, the television ratings have been massive.
Like the A ring and the B ring and the C ring,
For all this that's going on, even though it's away. Now it's different because there have been no fans, but the games have been in St. Petersburg. And so you kind of have had the feel for a lot of these home series and even that first playoff series with Toronto that you could go down and be around this at some of the sports restaurants and the things down and around it and around it. You had more of a feel. Again, as we've discussed on your show, the Lightning were winning all of this in Toronto and Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. You're completely detached. None of the games were here, and it's crazy. And now you get to the Yankee series, the Astros series, and they were in San Diego, California without fans. I will say this. I know of 3 separate individuals. One of them is a family with a son. A couple of them are a couple of brothers, and then another guy that I know. They have all gone to Arlington, and they have gotten tickets to find a way to get there. And there are Rays fans, probably by the hundreds, if not several thousand, that are around there trying to get tickets, trying to go. And part of that is you just don't know if they're going to get back next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's been 12 years since they've been there. So there are fans there that are trying to get in, and it's interesting. Sure, there are more Dodger fans. let's tell the truth as we do most of the time here, except when Miloshin starts going on about his Chicago teams. Let's tell the truth about the Dodgers in California. Everybody wants out of California right now, literally, figuratively, because the state is completely locked down still. It's nuts. When you've got the CEO of Disneyland saying you are crippling us permanently right now at Disneyland because you won't let us safely open up like Disney World did 90 days ago, you're crippling us with what you're doing. You've got Californians by the tens of thousands, by the hundreds of thousands that are looking for something to go do somewhere and get out of the state. And so, of course, the Dodgers are going to have more fans there right now probably than a lot of teams might have, because they're coming, they're looking to buy the tickets and a chance at a championship, and they haven't had one since 1988. So we'll see how it plays out here for the Rays. I'm just excited there are only 2 teams left playing baseball, and it's not the Yankees, and it's not the Astros, and it's not the Cardinals, it's not your Cubs, Wolo, it's the Rays hanging in there with the Dodgers being talked about.
I'm for the Rays. I'm pulling for them. I'm a little worried when I see that Lowe is hitting $150, when Meadows isn't even hitting 100, when Adames is hitting not even 120, Wendell's hitting not even 150.
They hit it on the nose right at someone.
Kiermaier is hitting 160. That's what kind of worries me.
Yeah.
I think the pitching will hold up, but I don't know if they'll be able to hit
I think
the Dodgers.
They have about 3 more hits with runners in scoring position than you, me, and Brett right now. It's not very good. So that's got to be better. They've had the occasional home run that bailed them out, especially in the Astros series. But even in the Astros series, they weren't hitting with runners in scoring position. They could have gotten to Kershaw in the first inning last night when they had runners on and he was wild before he settled in, and did not. And then the Dodgers eventually made them pay for that, especially. And I get into this debate, and I've had it already on a couple of other shows. I'm doing this on the 3 Dog Thursday podcast about the analytics and mapping everything out. And they swear by it. They swear by all the advanced stats, the defensive shifts, the pitching changes, all of the things that are happening are being done by the book and by the advanced stats. I get that. But I loved it last night when we took a trip through time, and Brett, I'm going to put a smile on your face even though I can't see you right now. Was that Whitey Herzog's, Willie McGee, Vince Coleman Cardinals? Let's go steal some bases.
Yeah.
Like what Ricky Henderson used to do in the 1980s.
Big
Here
smile.
were the Dodgers going by the analytics book, which says don't ever try to steal a base for any reason because, God forbid, you could make an out. You could get thrown out trying to steal a base.
Or get hurt.
Or get hurt. But that double steal was fantastic in helping them with momentum and rattling the Rays.
There's no doubt about that.
And
it was the aggressor.
I love the occasional, we don't have to play robot analytics baseball here. Do something by feel and do something against what the analytics Bible says, including maybe bunt or sacrifice every now and again to move a runner over. I mean, it has happened, and it has worked previously in baseball, so I like to see it every now and then.
TJ, you made me smile. Now this is a cheap shot alert that I'm getting ready to hurl at you. So just be ready for it.
Don't dare do that to my friend.
Can we get the analytics book and somebody to tell Kevin Cash to get in uniform as you're supposed to be in the dugout?
I don't understand. You texted me that one time before, and they've relaxed that. Baseball's the only holdout for that. Last time I checked, now they used to do this in the NBA, and Pete Rose at one time was a player manager, and the NBA had player head coaches. But most of these older managers, and Kevin's not as old as some of them, they're not able to go play in the game anymore. So it's not a big deal to me anymore. I mean, on the NFL,
but it's a rule.
We don't have...
It's a rule. If you're in the dugout, you have to have a uniform on. He does not have a top on.
Yeah, but still, my greater point is when we watch an NFL game and we're looking over at Bruce Arians.
Different sport.
I love him. Does he need
There's
to
no
have
rule in the
on
NFL.
a uniform while we call?
I don't care what they're doing. Baseball says to have one on.
Well,
it was relaxed though for this COVID, wasn't it? For this bubble, yeah.
No,
now, remember they had at one point
it was not
they
relaxed.
make up their own rules about everything and can't get anything straight. They had that rule at one point, and then it became as long as you were wearing.
It's never enforced anymore.
Official long sleeve or hoodie or sweatshirt or whatever that was officially logoed.
And you had it on under it.
To help sell the merchandise. they would do that. So I'm not it's not bothering me nearly like it's bothering you that he's not wearing a uniform because he's not playing in the game. How about that for a rebuttal?
I have to rebut your comment about truth. I mean, I don't understand where you're coming from. The Bears played straight up with the Buccaneers.
You're welcome for the win over the Packers, by the way.
And they beat them. Well, that's where I'm going with this. And they beat them. So I don't know. My Bears, I know you're a little bitter about the Mels, but I just don't understand why you'd be picking on them. But my
He's not bitter. That bet was voided, Dave.
No. That bet was not voided.
Now they turned the guns back on you.
That bet was not voided. But here's my question for you. Was that a real statement made by Brady when he look what they did. 38 points in a row after the Packers had taken a 10-0 lead. Defense started it, then Brady got into gear. Was that a real statement by the Bucs?
Yes, and I will say, and you know this about me, I have been around this team, covering it and being on the game broadcast, et cetera, for going on 25 years now. That is as impressive as they have been against a good team, and that's the qualifier. That's a Packer team that's going to win 12 games or maybe 13 games, go on to do that. And I hate to break it to you, they're going to go ahead and win the NFC North against someone's Bears. They're that good. Unless something happens physically to Rodgers, then all bets are off, if that's the case. But to do that against a future Hall of Fame quarterback where they stuffed him figuratively into a dumpster and sealed the lid on Green Bay after being behind 10-0, that was reminiscent. I'm not saying they are, but that was reminiscent of the 2002 Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber defense that went to and won the Super Bowl. They played tremendous defense, and then, by the way, Brady just went 13 for 13 at one stretch in the second quarter and early in the third quarter, dropping one great pass in after another. So that's about as well as they can play, and that should have scared the daylights out of a whole lot of people that watch that team if it stays healthy, including John Gruden and the Las Vegas Raiders, who will be the Sunday night opponent on the NBC Sunday night game with Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth as the next one, because that, again, in the last 10 years of Buccaneer football, they haven't played a game like that against anybody that's any good. They looked fantastic Sunday.
I kind of thought Aaron Rodgers kind of quit.
He was rattled. You could see, even from where I was down in the front row, not on the field in the operational zone, the body language was, they're coming from all directions. We don't know where they're coming. He was confused throwing the ball into coverage. He should have had two other interceptions in the game. Would have had four. He hadn't had one all year in the first four games. But they did. They had him rattled. And Brett loves the stats. Are you ready for this? From the time that he threw that interception to Jamel Dean that got run back for a touchdown, and we've seen the highlight everywhere, they ran 41 plays, 4-1. They gained 54 yards, 5-4, the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
They were dominated Sunday.
Wow.
It was defense. It was the 11 on defense more than it was TB12.
Agreed. That's what keyed the thing. But, I mean, you even saw Rob Gronkowski get in the act, and, guys, he's beat up. I'm not making excuses for him, but his back is bothering him again. His right shoulder was messed up in that Bears game, so he wasn't even able to do a Gronk spike after the touchdown. But, man, Brady laid a ball in there in that second quarter in the corner of the end zone that was reminiscent of the other 90 times they've done it in the New England Patriots. And I was struck by one more thing that I'll share with you and your audience here in the River City and in the Mid-South, that when there was about 6 minutes left and Brady had been pulled in a good way with a 38-10 lead standing over on the sideline, he and Gronkowski were having a moment while the clock's rolling where they were laughing and having a good time, and I stood and looked at that and went, they've probably done this 25 times in New England throughout their careers of just beating the crud out of whoever they played, and the game is over with 6 or 7 minutes left. It was great to see in Buccaneer colors. It's still a little surreal to see the two of them standing there, but I was standing right there watching them have a good time thinking, this is second nature to those two. They beat people like this all the time with the Patriots, and now it's with the Bucs.
Well, and that same team lost to the team that's in first place in the NFC North.
This is true. That's the Bears, and the Bears at 5-1 look good for now.
Yeah.
Let's see how it progresses along here into this season. The Bucs may get another crack at the Bears.
They might. Yeah, the Bears are the underdogs in Los Angeles on Monday night, so we shall see about that. Good luck to the Rays tonight. I honestly am pulling for them. I'd love to see the underdogs win here. They got to get some hits, and the pitching's got to come through. We'll see. It's Snell tonight, and that's about as good a chance as you got, right? He and Charlie Morton.
That is correct. He and Morton, and Snell was unhappy. He was displeased last Friday night when he was taken out of the game. Again, that was Kevin Cash in the book that says the third time through the lineup, Blake Snell's ERA goes way up, the opponent's batting average goes way up, and if he starts to struggle, they're going to come get him. And watch that happen tonight, long about the fifth inning or the sixth inning, if it's the third time through the Dodgers lineup, and he starts to have problems. So keep an eye on that. Let's see if the Rays can't climb back in the series, I hope. Again, if they can push this to a fifth, sixth game beyond, if need be, that's advantage Rays. That means they will have been doing what they do well with the relief pitching and spreading people out analytically into later innings, that kind of stuff. So let's see if that can happen tonight. If the Dodgers get this one tonight, it's big trouble. Everybody knows that. Everybody understands that. But we'll see. Let's see what happens.
You got it, TJ. Thank you much. We appreciate it.
All right, boys. You guys be well.
Thank you,
Good
TJ.
to be with you.
You got it. Be safe. TJ Reeves with us every Wednesday, and it's fun down in Tampa St. Pete right now. It's fun down in Olive Branch right now where it's Trucktober at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Nobody with more new Silverados than they have in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and you get the Trucktober thousands, and I mean thousands in cash off the price. Not 1,000, up to 4,500 cash back, 4,000 plus 500, and maybe even more if you ask just the right way. The holidays are coming at All-Star Chevy, and they've got all the new 2020 Chevy SUVs and trucks with cash back deals in the thousands. New 3-row Traverse, new Equinox, Impala, or Malibu, all come with thousands in Chevy cash back just for you. See Scott, see Drew, see all the great people down at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. And remember, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not Covenant Pike, it's not South Haven or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. The certified pre-owned lot is full. Impalas, Malibus, Tahoes, Suburbans, everyone at All-Star. One job, make sure you're having fun, get the best deal, and do it in record time. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com. Beat any dealer's ad price any day at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and best financing for everyone down at All-Star.
We want to give away a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop. Somebody's going to have Hamburger Friday or a steak dinner or a Sunday brunch. And my man, Brett Norsworthy, is going to come up with the absolute question.
I got it.
What do you want to do this
Can we
Sunday?
throw it out for the break?
Yeah, let's throw it out before the break, and then we can discuss it. What should we take the first texter that gets through on the First Bank text line?
Let's do it.
7129?
We'll take a first quick caller at 360-8255. Whatever you want to do. Tampa Bay Rays in their second World Series. Who did they lose to in their first World Series?
Who did the Rays lose to in the very first World Series they played? If you know, at 360-8275, 360-8275, or 67129, then you'll get $50 worth of the Butcher Shop coming your way. It'll be mailed by Eli Savoy himself. That answer coming your way in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Are you shopping for a new watch, an engagement ring, any kind of jewelry at all? What's up, Memphis? This is Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizzlies, encouraging you all to shop where I shop, Platinum Jewelers here in Memphis. Platinum Jewelers has a big selection of earrings, stockable rings, luxury watches, necklaces, bracelets, really whatever you need. They do custom jewelry and have 2 locations in the area. One is 545 Perkins Extended in East Memphis. The other is 9387 Poplar next to Fresh Market in Germantown. So if you need anything jewelry related, go to my spot, Platinum Jewelers.
Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days are rocking at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. And guess who's got #1 ranked brand in initial quality and driver appeal among mass market brands? We Gossett! 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS top safety pick. $21,560 or $275 a month. Or get muscle with 2020 Dodge Challenger XST with best in-class cargo volume. $24,348 or $314 a month. Plus get ramped up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Classic Crew Cab 4x2. We Gossett at $388 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Ranked by J.D. Powers IQS and Appeal Studies, all 75 months at 4.11 APR, 3,500 down, must finance through Chrysler Cherokee, LD 643160, MSRP 28,190, Challenger LHS 214,740, MSRP 31,180, Ram LG 293,29, MSRP 37,855, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free site credit to register and verify early, no deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports in a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you when you verify your account, and you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live.
21 plus in present Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Somebody must have kicked you around.
Welcome back in. Nice to have you aboard as we get you through the middle of the week on this Wednesday. We have a trivia question out there for $50 to the butcher shop. You can either call on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255, or you can text us on the First Bank text line at 67129. We know the Rays are playing in the World Series against the Dodgers. This is their second World Series, looking for their first championship. Who did they play in their very first World Series?
You got to get there to win it, and they're back for their second one. They didn't last long in the first one. Losers 4-1 in that one to a team that was the last time they won a World's title. They lost the very next year to the Yankees in the World Series, this team that defeated the Rays in 2008. But that was Joe Madden then. And It is Kevin Cash now, and the body of work of Kevin Cash over his tenure as manager of the Rays, he's baseball's manager of the year in that time to get that team. And tell me why more teams won't adopt more of what the Rays are doing at the personnel level, at the development level. It obviously worked because Andrew Friedman took what he learned there and took it to Los Angeles. Now he's got a lot bigger budget to deal with.
Yeah. He sure does, and it's paying off for you. He's pretty good at what he does too, obviously. But I have loved what Kevin Cash has done, and as T.J. Reeves was talking about, they have an analytic system, and he sticks by it. I mean, he is really disciplined with that, as he mentioned when he took out. And I was watching the game when Morton was taken out, and look, this is their ace. He was really not happy at all. But he's going to go by the book, except for the way he dresses.
They have stuck by the book on that, but he is a great manager. One more hint from the trivia for $50 gift certificate at the butcher shop, Greg Gaston's favorite team.
Well, that should do it right there. That should do it right there. So, anyway, a little program note for all of you, and this is interesting. On Friday at 5 o'clock, the longtime and wonderful voice of the Temple Owls, Harry Donahue, a very distinct voice, is going to join us. And I, in trying to set this up, I asked him if he would be in Memphis by 5, because I didn't know if he's traveling with the team. Most of the time they're not traveling, and he let me know in a message I just heard, they're not traveling. You believe that? Temple will be doing the game, or he will, in a remote studio off a television set. So they are taking it very seriously.
Florida did it opening day.
Yeah.
Is it COVID fears or budget or both?
No. It's COVID fears. It's not budget. It's COVID fears. I'm sure it was with Florida, and I know it is with Temple. They are just being very, very cautious. No travel.
That's their business.
Yeah.
I applaud it.
Yep. So text us. Here we go. The first one now has come in, and Drew, if you send it, you'll send them the info. We've got our winner. It was the Phillies. I think when you said Greg Gaston's favorite team, bingo, we had the winner. Good job. Stats,
always magic with Greg's team.
There you go. This portion of the show is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tankless water heater. They're the experts. They're the best with these things now. And you may have noticed, if you got an old system, for sure you have, when the water gets cold outside, the ground gets cold, it takes longer, requires more energy to heat the water. Sometimes old, inefficient tank water heaters can't keep up. Please get into the 20th century. Get the newest. I've got it. It is incredible. Tankless water heaters. And John Conway is making it the perfect time right now to get a new tankless, because he'll give it to you, this offer, 12 months interest free, or they'll pay you $250 for your old tanked water heater. Plus, now these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, so you save money on your gas bill every month. They almost pay for themselves, and there's never a worry about that tank bursting, because there is no tank. It's the best. 384-3511. Get the deal. 12 months interest-free, or $250 for your old tanked water heater by calling 384-3511. That's Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We'll talk some college football, SEC style in particular, in just 1 minute. We'll be joined by ESPN's Barrett Jones. He comes your way next.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you find some new headlights. Here's a tip. Make sure to replace them in pairs so you'll have even lighting over time. Right now you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy a Sylvania HID bulb. And with our free next day delivery and free same day store pickup, you can get it fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brian Smith, we love the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis.
Thanks, Stats. The fall months are always the best time to shop for both new and pre-owned cars. We're right in the middle of model year end change. The 2020s have got to go to make room for the new 2021 models, and we continue to trade for the best pre-owned cars in the city, all makes and models.
Service is one of y'all's hallmarks.
Our award-winning service department is adhering to all socially distanced safety precautions.
You can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2, almost halfway through our week on this Wednesday. We're going to talk some college football and the SEC with our good friend from ESPN, Barrett Jones, here in just a minute. Again, I'm going to say the ratings came out for the Tigers UCF game on Saturday. It drew a 1.1 rating. The week before, Texas Tech and Iowa State drew a 0.9. Which goes to show you, even across the country now, this is the American. They outdrew the Big 12. Maybe the Big 12 will notice that when the next domino starts to fall. There is an SEC story we did not get to yet, Brett. That LSU is banning former star receiver Odell Beckham Jr. from its facilities for 2 years. After he appeared to have wads of cash, we all saw it to the LSU players following the team's national championship.
Just made it rain
victory.
Right there on the field, didn't he?
Yeah, when they beat Clemson, there were some reports that it was counterfeit. It was not counterfeit.
No,
they did.
It was
the real thing.
Good for all debts, public and private.
Yeah. So they give him a 2-year ban, and they're taking it pretty seriously here because they've also said they would reduce their scholarship count by 8 over the next 2 years and dock itself some recruiting time. Now, you have to wonder, they're going before that independent review board, like Memphis is still waiting for basketball, and they've got a basketball case, which is much more severe than even this. So I'm just
really glad.
Yeah, I think they're going all out. But let's start with this, and let's bring in our friend Barrett Jones. I personally think LSU is doing enough here and the right thing to ban the guy that did it, to take away scholarships. Barrett Jones, good afternoon. Do you think that's enough?
Well, what's up, guys? To be honest with you, I thought it was more than enough. I was a little surprised to even see how much it was. Obviously, maybe you wonder, was there some other things involved? I mean, just because, look, that's a big deal, but also it's not like lack of institutional control to let that happen. So I don't know. It was funny when I read it. I mean, maybe I'm just too pro player, but I thought that was even maybe a little harsh to self-impose yourself for that. So usually in deals like this, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than maybe you know. So I'm just going to kind of trust the process on this one. And I have a feeling that when some of these people give themselves penalties, that they're not doing so out of the air, and that they probably have talked to some people to say what would it take to be sufficient. Generally, that's just my guess on a lot of these matters.
You know what?
Yeah, a little bit. What can make this go away? And Barrett, I'm with you. I'm very pro player, and I say this 100% facetiously and somewhat bitterly. I'm just really glad that LSU didn't take somebody to hunt or let them sleep on their couch like at Ole Miss when Ole Miss faced the long arm of the law.
I agree with everything you just said earlier there, Barrett. But the one thing where I don't know that you would get whispers here, and I'm really speaking from lack of knowledge, but I don't think anybody knows about this independent review group that Memphis is the first test case with the James Wiseman case. Yeah, so,
that's a good point. That's a really good point about the independent review board, and I didn't think that. I think maybe, all you can do is go on precedent, but you're right. There's not a whole lot of precedent with the independent review board. So that's a great point.
And Barrett, last Saturday, you were at the massacre of Clemson over Georgia Tech, the largest margin of defeat for Georgia Tech since the 1890s. Trevor Lawrence is that good. Dino Babers said this week he thinks Alabama's chasing Clemson. Who's chasing whom? Alabama chasing Clemson or Clemson chasing Bama?
Well, first of all, I honestly, I'm searching for a stronger word than massacre because I'm not even sure that massacre really gets the point across. It was honestly, I'm scared to even use a different word because the words I'm thinking of are so strong that I don't know the kind of connotations they would elicit. But it was a bloodbath. I'll just say that it was ugly, and it got ugly quickly. And as we've seen, Georgia Tech's not that bad. Talent-wise, there's a big gap there for sure, but they play hard. They're still, they ran a triple option offense 2 years ago, so they're still figuring it out. But Clemson is there's no doubt in my mind that right now they are far and away the most complete team in college football. So I think Alabama, whoever you want to say, everybody right now is chasing Clemson. And again, not necessarily because of Trevor Lawrence, but just because of how complete that team is. And obviously he's a big part of that. If you're going to make me pick who's the very best offense in the country, I'm picking Alabama. Look, Alabama's offense, I think, is incredible. They're very balanced. Their offensive line is very good. Their running game is strong. We saw that really showed up when it mattered there against Georgia. They have the best receivers in college football. So they're loaded on offense, and I don't think you're going to find a better offense than Alabama's. But better complete team, that's Clemson right now, and that's not that close just because of how well that defense is playing.
Well, just to go along with your lines of depth, and I really don't know if, Clemson was just bringing in their eighth receiver, but I've never seen a stat line like this before. 17 different receivers caught a pass in that game wearing a Clemson uniform. That's a lot of folks.
I don't know if you guys have ever called a game before, but I'll just say, and I'm sure you have at some point. Our depth chart and our stats, we were pulling out all the flip charts we could find to look up numbers and figure out who these guys were that were coming on the field and catching passes, because it was just people we had never heard of, certainly that were not on our 2 or 3 deep. We were having to pull out the alphabetical roster and figure out who some of these guys were.
Yep, I think we have lost Barrett.
I'll give you one thing, though. I'll give you one note on a serious note. If there's one weakness of Clemson, because they're pretty perfect, honestly, and it's that they don't yet have a guy on the outside who's dynamic, receiver-wise. And they've had so many different guys there. Mike Williams, they had T. Higgins, they've had so many guys who were Justin Ross coming into the year. He obviously got hurt, but they don't have that one guy yet. Their best receiver is T. Higgins, who's their slot guy. He's a shorter guy. There's a ton of guys who could be that guy. I mean, there's an unlimited amount of 4- and 5-star guys who ultimately could develop and get there by the end of the year. But right now, they don't have that dynamic playmaker on the edge. And so if you want to nitpick and just say, what are they missing? When they get to that close game and they need that receiver to go up and make a big play on the outside, I don't know who that guy would be right now. But I honestly am just not sure that anyone at this point in the season is going to actually get them there. I mean, I don't even everyone points to Notre Dame game. Notre Dame game is going to be a bloodbath, I think. After watching Notre Dame on Saturday and watching Clemson, I mean, those teams are not even in the same ballpark right now. I mean, I think Clemson won by 4 touchdowns. So
wow.
I don't know when that will happen. It probably won't happen to the playoffs. But if you're just keep an eye on that throughout the season, that's a little nugget to keep an eye on. Will they have a guy on the outside really emerge and develop?
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on the Notre Dame assessment. My goodness, they're the 3rd-ranked team in the country after just the gnashing of teeth win last week over a very supremely average Louisville.
Well, and Brett, I'm very much anti this team beat this team, so that means this team's better than this team. I generally hate that. Okay, but I mean, it's hard to ignore the comparison that Louisville just got beaten by Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech beat Louisville, and Clemson just blew Georgia Tech off the map, right? And so I mean, I know I don't like those comparisons because I know it's different, but when it's that much of a difference, it's pretty obvious when Louisville gets beat by Georgia Tech, and then Clemson, obviously beats Georgia Tech by 70, literally, and then Louisville, is in a dogfight with Notre Dame to hold down to the wire.
Barrett, if Clemson played Georgia Tech again next week, would the same thing happen? Was that just a weird game, or is Clemson that much better than Georgia Tech?
Look, if you go back and watch the tape, Clemson could have easily scored 100. I mean, easily. I mean, honestly, I'm not even joking. I mean, I really think they could have. I mean, just they basically scored every time they got the ball. And when they had their starters in, pretty much. So, I mean, they called that Trevor Lawrence only played 1 series in the second half, and they scored 77 points. So, yeah, that was not an anomaly. Now, would they win by 70? I don't know. I mean, who knows? That's just an effort thing. Are you going to get people to try that hard, to play all out for 60 minutes of the game when you're up 70 points? I mean, I can't answer that question. But, no, that was not an anomaly.
For all the big games that Coach Nick Saban's won at Alabama, I don't know where last Saturday ranks. Regular season game, 4th game of the year. I don't know exactly where it will rank, Barrett, but it was a big one. It was a statement sent in the second half as the Tide defense played its best stretch of the year. And you mentioned earlier the prolific offense just keep on doing what they do, and Mac Jones really settled in. That was a good win for the Tide, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. I thought it was a great win. It was very impressive. I mean, look, it's a little predictable. If you watched Alabama, just that, whenever there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of everyone started picking Georgia. Everyone started believing that maybe Georgia's really better than Alabama. Then Alabama just kind of reminds you of why they've been, the best team in the SEC for the past decade plus. The defense played much better. I mean, the second half was their best football they've played all season. And not even close, by the way. They played really well that second half. And so they responded. They answered the call. I mean, we knew the players were there. I mean, they had players. It was not an issue of talent. But, look, the other thing I've told people before the game, and I told them after, is that, playing Georgia offensively, it kind of plays into what Alabama's always done well. I mean, Alabama's always been pretty good at stopping the run, except for when they played Ole Miss for some reason. And just historically, they can stop the run. And when there's no tempo, they have better time to get that complicated defense set up. So Georgia tried to work in some tempo, but that's not really their game. So it's just hard to beat Alabama at their own game, and that's what Georgia came in and tried to do. They tried to beat them at what Alabama does best, and that's a tough recipe.
The other thing that was interesting to me, which was the day after the game, where Nick Saban said, there's lessons to be learned in this thing with the COVID for him. And it was almost like I felt like he was trying to say, I realized how important these games are to me. I really wanted to coach. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to coach. I was really worried I couldn't prepare my team. And for those who think, well, he doesn't have his fastball anymore, or he's really thinking about retiring, I got the exact opposite out of that. It seems like he is clearly still into what he's doing and will be doing this for a few more years.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, look, I just don't know what else he would do. I mean, TV, I just don't think he wants to work in TV. I mean, not that badly. He loves playing golf, but I mean, he likes squeezing in a golf round. He doesn't want to just play 36 every day. So
speed golf.
I think he's, as long as he feels like he can do it, he's going to do it. Coach Saban, honestly, the happiest you will ever see him is at practice. Now, not many people get to see him there, obviously. And I should add one caveat. In practice, after the open periods are over, so after the media is gone, that is when he's the most happy. And he just loves, he skips around, and he really enjoys being at practice. Because at the end of the day, people forget, and maybe don't know this about Nick Saban, he's a teacher. He loves teaching. He loves coaching guys up and teaching the game. That's what he really is passionate about doing. And so I think when you've been doing that for so long, I think it kind of jogged his memory just about how much he liked coaching and teaching and helping guys improve.
Barrett, tell our listeners what it's like in the meeting rooms. Does he dip into the O-line meeting room? Will he dip into the linebacker meeting room? Will he walk the hallway and stick his head in a wide receiver's meeting room?
Well, I think he'll occasionally be in the quarterback meeting room, but almost always he is in the defensive meeting room, right? They are meet as a unit, and they're together. And so generally he's with the defense. Now he normally lets the coordinator run the meeting, but he's always sitting there and makes a lot of comments. So I'll say the room he goes into the very, very least, the O-line room, right? I mean, he realizes he doesn't know that much about O-line play. So it's very rare actually that he spends time in the O-line room. And so, which honestly, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. That he just doesn't mess with the O-line much. He always has really good O-line coaches that are very experienced, and so he normally just kind of lets them do their thing. I think quarterback, he goes in there occasionally. To be honest, I don't know that much. I just know that he's not really in our offensive meetings much, so I assume that he mostly was in defensive meetings. And, he's a defensive guy, so it's not that surprising. But he pretty much
was leaving you alone.
Run themselves.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, I like Coach Saban. I like playing for him. But it was, it's one of, it's kind of like when the boss is looking over your shoulder, I mean, it's not a bad thing when he gives you autonomy to do it yourself.
What game have you got this week?
I have got the LSU South Carolina game.
Wow, I'm glad you do, because I was just going to talk about that game with you. I think South Carolina surprised a bunch of people last week, although we probably shouldn't be, because you never know with Auburn and with Gus Malzahn. But this is a game that LSU just about has to have. It's a game at home.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's a must-have. Look, and Miles Brennan might not be playing now, so there's a bunch of question marks. And you're right, South Carolina's played it better than a lot of people have expected them to play. So it's a game I'm really looking forward to calling.
And a lot of Alabama-type influence over both programs, a little less now with LSU than it was under Coach Les Miles, but it is a crossroads game. Will Muschamp has had trouble kind of putting these wins together. It's been fits and starts, and for him, it'd be especially nice for him to go back to where he coached a lot as an assistant coach at LSU and get that win and have that back-to-backer over the SEC West, over Auburn and the LSU Tigers.
Well, look, LSU right now, I mean, to say they're a question mark, I think would be underselling it. I mean, who is LSU? I think we're all still assuming that LSU is good just because, they won the national championship last year. But, I watched the tape last week, and I found myself asking, are they actually good? I really don't know. So I'm excited to see them in person I said that's a habit. I won't be in person, but I'm excited to see kind of what they're really made of and who they are. because I really don't know who's going to win this game. I don't have a great feel for it. But you're right. Will Muschamp, he needs that big staple win, and this could be it. Even though the more LSU plays, the less and less I think that beating them is a staple win for anybody. Hey, first week of the season, remember how positive we were on Mike Leach and how that was a staple win, and then they lose to Missouri, and now we're not so sure who LSU is. So the SEC is kind of a cluster this year, honestly. When you get outside of maybe the big dogs, I mean, even though Florida, they lost to A&M, I mean, maybe you can say Georgia's still the team in the East, but outside that, it seems like a year that almost anybody can beat anybody. I mean, Arkansas just beat Ole Miss after we thought Ole Miss was better. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are good, not great in the SEC, which, hey, maybe that's a negative, but it makes for some really fun viewing.
It does. I agree with you about the assessment of LSU and Mississippi State because of the way they manhandled LSU. State fans thought this was, oh my gosh, the air raid. He's incredible, and then they haven't won another game since. So they raised those expectations only to be dropped on their heads, and that's tough for Mike Leach and his crew as they try to regain footing. This is the annual Alabama-Tennessee game, which used to mean so much. You were a part of that rivalry. Does it still
What was your record, Barrett, in
mean
that game?
that much?
I was 5-0, Brett. I appreciate you asking.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
Yeah. It meant a lot more before Tennessee decided to go and lose to Kentucky last week, and especially the fashion in which they lost. Look, I think the SEC is much better when Tennessee's, a good team. And I want to believe in Tennessee. I keep wanting to buy in because I do like Jeremy Pruitt so much. But I think I've said it in the show almost every week. As long as Jarrett Garantano is under center, Tennessee is not going to have a marquee win, in my opinion. And I hate to say that because I don't like to pick on kids specifically, but he just shows, eventually if a guy shows you who he is enough, eventually you got to believe him. And so I believe him when he shows me who he is over and over. And I just don't think that they're going to be able to compete with Alabama with that guy under center. Look, if we've seen, Georgia probably is pretty equal to Alabama in every area except one, honestly, and that's quarterback. And so I think we're seeing how big quarterbacks are in this day and age of college football. And right now, the one Tennessee has, it's not just the quarterback either. The confidence your team has when you have a quarterback, it's just a totally different ball game right now. Like, you believe you can win any game when you have a quarterback that can put up points with the good guys. And right now, Tennessee does not believe, and you can see it on their faces. There's no belief in that guy, and so that's why they're going to lose games like that, and that's why they're going to lose the big games too, like they lost to Georgia. So, is it still a rivalry? Yeah, it is, because there's a lot of history behind it. Even though Tennessee hasn't won since 2006, I think. So this will not be the year though, because I don't see it happening.
Last game. Got to get your take on Ole Miss and Auburn, an Auburn team that is reeling, a Ole Miss team. You mentioned what happened with Arkansas. Well, they 6 picks by the quarterback. My goodness, you're not going to win many games when that happens. What is your assessment of that game on Saturday in Oxford?
Well, apparently the way to beat any team from Mississippi is just to rush 3 and drop 8 every play. Apparently, because that's pretty much what Arkansas did, and Matt Corral just couldn't handle it. So I was shocked to see that game. That's the game I probably watched the most of on Saturday, because I just thought it was really interesting, the chess match that was going on back and forth there. And I was just really surprised to watch the way it all went down. I really thought Ole Miss would win the game. So I'm still trying to figure out who Ole Miss is. I thought they were pretty good, and then they laid that egg in performance. I think they have a lot more talent than Arkansas, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and they didn't win. So who is Auburn? Like, there's still a lot I keep saying that phrase, but there's still so many teams where I'm trying to figure out who they are. I don't think Bo Nix is playing that well. So there's just so many question marks. There's so many unknowns. We're still trying to figure out who everybody is, and we'll just have to watch. If you're going to make me pick, I'm going to pick offense. So I'm going to go Ole Miss.
I can buy that, and Brett, I know you would love that.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take 49-48 right now. I don't know that Auburn can get to 48, but I also know Kevin Steele is going to pour through that Barry Odom game plan and copy and paste it. I think, with better athletes than Arkansas, but I don't know about that anymore. Barrett, I love how Arkansas has played and how they run to the football on defense. I mean, it is group tackling extraordinaire.
Well, no doubt. Arkansas played really well, and they've played above their station. It's been awesome to watch. But I think that I'm not ready to say Arkansas has better athletes than Auburn, but I am shocked at just how inept both of Auburn's lines have been. They've both been terrible, O-line and D-line. I'm so used to seeing dominant D-lines at Auburn, and they don't have one this year. There's no pass rush.
Barrett Jones, as always, we thank you. Look forward to maybe catching a little bit of your game with South Carolina, and should be fun.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barrett.
Barrett Jones. Now working for ESPN. This hour of our show is presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and Genesis of Olive Branch. They have they have several things in common. They're both owned by Homer. They're both in the same building. They both have these great warranties. A limited lifetime powertrain warranty up to 100,000 miles on every new G70 or G90 or Hyundai Santa Fe or Sonata or Elantra, any one of those. Every one of those is really what I should say. If it's a Hyundai, if it's a Genesis, you get the powertrain warranty and a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new car. You can't beat that, and they do the same thing with their certified pre-owns, up to a 100,000-mile warranty. And the other nice part is those certifieds, everybody loves them. They've been the number one certified pre-owned car dealership in Memphis for 12 straight years. The crew that sells them has been around for 13 years. They work together to make it easy for you. Go find out for yourself. Just get on Lamar, first exit in Mississippi. It's Highway 78 when you get to State Line Road, but the very first exit is Craft Road. You turn left and you're there, and you'll be where I think they've set the bar for the way car business should be done. Go find out for yourself at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk to our professor, Rick Horrow from Harvard, on the business of sports. He is next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hey, Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports in a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. And unlike other sportsbooks, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code BIGHEAD. That's me, Peter, with the big head, so they know I sent you. Use promo code BIGHEAD, and when you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code BIGHEAD to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Chevy. Over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $7,500. Sunrise discounts high as $8,000. And don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevy's cost less at Sunrise, partner.
If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, but you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place, instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/am. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/am. netsuite.com/am.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Yes, welcome back in as we are halfway through our week, halfway through our Wednesday. We got a World Series Game 2 tonight, and there's people in the stands. We love talking the business of sports with our Harvard professor, Rick Coro, also from the family of NBC stations. Rick, are they making up any revenue streams at all? Are they, with the limited amount of World Series tickets and everything else, will baseball make anything from this?
Well, yeah, they'll make a lot from television. I mean, the television deals are $1.7 billion, and much of the deal is TV related to postseason. That's where the ratings are, whether we're happy with the ratings where they currently are or not. That's where people are happy, is they get the postseason television revenue. And it's an interesting series. I mean, you don't think about the Rays as a national team, but when you think about it, it's a pretty significant, fun story. Openers and different management techniques and cast-offs and
how about $220 million payroll versus 60?
Well, listen, the fact that the Dodgers have spent 10 times more money on their team, you could argue that the World Series is not decided in the boardroom. On the other hand, money can't buy happiness, but I'd much rather have money than not.
I'll give it a try, Rick. I'll give it a try. Baseball talking about minimum $100 million in losses for every team, and the larger markets even bigger. The Philadelphia Phillies up to over $200 million in losses, and they're already regretting the Bryce Harper deal. Can they ever make up that money for Bryce Harper, Rick?
Well, it depends on your perspective. The flaw in the deal was going to be years 8, 9, 10, and beyond anyway. Now they're in a hole. So, now there's pressure on the guy to perform. Look, if I came back as a baseball player, I'd say I'll put on a red, white, and blue bandana, and I will have one good weekend, not really competitively, but I'll win the home run derby in my town during the All-Star game. And I'll parlay that into an outrageous contract. So, kudos to him. But do you blame the Phillies? Maybe. The rumor is that all of the players are going to get together and decide that they should feel sorry for the owners, and they're going to give some money back. Oh, it doesn't work. I'm
no,
that'll be a story if that ever occurred. I could.
Yeah, it'll be a story if that, of course.
Yeah.
So obviously teams are losing money, but think of what they would have lost had there been no season and no TV. I think most owners will feel like they've done a really good job with that 60-game schedule. And then let's hope, I'm really hoping that the series goes 6 or 7. I'm hoping the Dodgers don't get the momentum by the stupid Atlanta Braves Game 7 base running and parlay it all the way to a World Series sweep. Let's hope it gets close.
Yeah. You mentioned the playoffs being a big chunk of the television revenue that Major League Baseball gets. It's no surprise then that yesterday Rob Manfred came out and said, I'd like to keep this expanded playoff format. Do you think that will occur? He also said the craziest thing, and I hope this does not occur, where in extra innings they will start a man at second base. That part I don't want. I think I actually can live. Even though baseball's the marathon season and the regular season should account for an awful lot, I think I could live with the expanded playoffs.
Well, and just like you should be able to live with 22 teams in the National Hockey League playoffs, because the Blackhawks and the Rangers got in through this vehicle, even though I think they lost a combined 4 million games this year. And the same thing with the NBA. And don't look now, but the NFL's going to one extra playoff team per conference this year. You know, it is the latest vogue. If regular season doesn't generate as much revenue and teams win or lose profit-wise based on getting into the playoffs, well, then there's the right answer. You know, socialism is fine. Just expand the playoffs.
Yeah, you expand the playoffs, and you drive more people to the TV, and it makes more money because, look, you know, with something on the line, we love a bracket, Rick. We love elimination, and you really don't feel that sense of urgency and of eliminating quality on a Wednesday night in July.
Well, and the other point about this is we're forgetting it because it's 3-4 weeks ago, and we're a now society. But think of how exciting it was where you had basically 8 games a day, and you had 16, teams, and many of them go to that 1-1, and you're going to elimination games. You could have had 8 best of 3 elimination games. A lot of teams were saying that's not fair. We played the entire season to be eliminated in the best of 3. Well, suck it up and organize your pitchers and win the divisions quickly so you can rest the right guys so you're ready. Yeah, play.
That's
Shut
right.
up and play ball.
And that's right. And if you don't win, to the victor go the spoils. You got to try to get them again next year. Rick, the TV number for Alabama.
I'm a big Cub fan, as you know, and a White Sox fan secondarily.
Whoa.
Whoa, Rick. Rick, do you realize what you just did?
That is the setup. He can't be. You're not being
I didn't do it, Dave.
No?
You can do it. You can do it.
Rick,
Why not?
that is amazing to me because I take grief all the time. I'm originally from Chicago.
There you go. Why not?
There is a rule. You're a lawyer, so you know. You're the first person that knows the law.
True. We will never hear the end of this now that he's got Rick corroborating this.
Rick,
I feel much better that I've got a soulmate. Why? You got to choose one or the other?
No, that's what they say. So here's the law. This, I think, was established, I want to say, in 1922. I'm not 100% certain. But if you live south of I-80, you can be for both because people don't realize they're in different leagues. It's incredible.
And B, my parents, my mom's side grew up in the south side of Chicago, Polish neighborhood, and I spent some of my formative, early stages in junior high and high school in summers going to Comiskey.
Wow.
And then I went to Northwestern undergrad. And I go to Wrigley. So what the hell is wrong with that?
I knew there was some good stuff from you, Rick. That is,
we'll never hear the end of it.
I love this, and he's for both. It's the greatest. But I got to ask
Rick,
you
I used to love you.
No, you love me still even more. I trained Duke, by the way, to wear White Sox and Cubs stuff during the playoffs that week, both. Now he's upset because I got pissed at him because they didn't go the next week. Both of my teams got eliminated early, including the Cubs. I mean, that was what
crushing.
A terrible showing that was.
Yeah.
Put your fan hat on a second. Would you hire 76-year-old Tony La Russa on the South Side as skipper?
No. Well, listen, the way you phrased it was interesting. It's back to the glory days. I'm afraid that I would. Let me tell you why. Because I'm afraid that Jerry Reinsdorf thinks about big names, and if he doesn't hire La Russa, then he hires Ozzie Guillen, and I'm jumping off the cliff if that happens.
Well, he definitely not Ozzie. I could live with Tony, but there's young guys, and there's the former Astros manager is available. There's a guy named Stubby Clapp who's with the Cardinals who won 2 PCL championships here, relates to young teams. I don't understand why you wouldn't look for somebody who could relate to the younger guys that you have. I got to ask you this question. And I usually we ask business or things of that nature, but we know, are a huge Miami Dolphins fan. What in the world are you all thinking about? You got a guy who's just won you 2 games in a row. You're at 500. You're coming together, and Fitzmagic is getting dumped for the guy who's going to be the guy in the future. But don't you want to win now?
Plus, the guy is a really good guy. I've gotten to know him well. He's a Harvard guy, need you say any more. He has a perspective of the smartest guy in the room, which obviously all us Harvard guys do. And the problem with all of that is that we thought that he was taking it like a pro. This morning, I just saw some of the stuff saying, my heart hurts all day.
He was
set this up.
shocked.
He probably shouldn't have gone where, but he's a Renaissance guy. He speaks his feelings, and so there won't be any discord in the locker room. They'll go on. So why? It's a bye week. They're trying to get excitement going. They've got a terribly easy schedule, but for Aaron Donald next week. They've got 5 really kind of easy games, and it's maybe now or never. I heard some people try to justify it by saying, well, if they win their play games and they go 8-4, it's going to be that much harder to replace Fitz. Well, great. Keep them in there if they're 8-4. I mean, God bless them. So it's energizing the town. But then again, what quarterback controversy doesn't rip a town apart? It's not nuclear war. The guy was the draft pick they needed. So let's see what happens. And if he's not playing well, then Fitz comes back and then we're in real trouble.
Last thing with our professor of business, Rick Horrow, and the NBC family of stations. You gave us a little nugget. It was interesting. In the wake of the Last Dance success, the Bulls in Chicago have gotten more international sponsors, and I'm wondering now with Morey leaving the Houston Rockets organization, have we, or I shouldn't say we, has the NBA patched things up with China? Will that revenue stream, and some people think they lost to $1 billion to $2 billion because of the discord from the Morey tweet on Hong Kong, is that getting patched up?
Well, a lot of comments there. First of all, nice comment, because you also saw my segment about $150 million of NBA patch revenue, but I'm sure that's not what you meant by patch, because you're just not that quick. So, nice try. But how's that?
Well, I didn't go to Harvard, I'll say that.
I'll tell you,
he went to the Harvard of Southern Illinois.
That's right.
Obviously, is that the thing I should say? No, I won't say that. The NBA, Adam Silver, has done a really good job of allowing teams to seek 2 international sponsors and to expand their brand. The Kings and Vivek Ranadive, who owns the Kings, decided to try to get a couple of Indian companies in. Greek Freak in Milwaukee, they're trying to get some Greek sponsors. Daryl Morey in China was great. They haven't patched that up yet, but they're moving in the right direction. CCTV carried games 5 and 6 of the NBA Finals, and Daryl Morey leaves a year after the tweet. So maybe it's a little face-saving, and maybe that's the way you do things diplomatically. The NBA also gave $1 million to a Chinese medical technology company for humanitarian aid, trying to figure out what that's all about. But the other piece, the Bulls have tried to do international sponsorships like everybody else is doing, but they didn't get the memo that said you're supposed to be halfway decent before you do it. Maybe they're going to find a couple of nondescript companies who don't read any papers or listen to any news that still think Michael Jordan is playing, and cut the deal before they find out. What do you think?
Make it
it's
quick.
A good idea if you can do it.
Yeah.
Make it quick. Go White Sox and go Cubs.
I love it, Rick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
man.
you, Rick. Great stuff, man. Thank you. You got it.
That is Rick Horrow. I told you, that law, he's a lawyer. He knew the existence of the law. Absolutely, positively.
Did you set that up? Because I sure didn't.
I swear. I thought you guys were setting me up.
You got a theater minor. I think you're acting.
I thought you were setting me up. I'm not kidding.
I did not. I promise I did not.
I got it afterward. He was sincere. He knew the law. That's the best part of the whole thing.
Unreal. We'll never hear the end of it. Now you got corroboration and a partner in crime.
I love it. This portion of the show brought to you by the Affluent Insurance Group. I love him, too. I love how he and his group, they're a team that have really the same thought process on all of these things. That's to protect you in the right way, to fit your needs, and also to fit your budget. And that could be, personal insurance. We're talking about the home and auto program that is the right one for you, and they sit you down and figure that out just by talking to you and knowing about your family and making sure that you are going in the right direction, both with your wallet and with your needs. The other is they do both personal and business. So if you've got a small to mid-sized business, They virtually have unlimited access to programs that will protect that. And then, I don't want to forget about life insurance. They got you covered there, too, with quotes from 15 well-respected companies, so you always will find the right protection for you. Call Grant, Andrew, or Heath at 901-386-GUR. That's 901-386-4777. The GURs, because they love the Tigers, proud supporters of the University of Memphis, and wanting to help you and protect you. Again, that number, 386-4777 for the Eflin Insurance team. We take a break. We're back in a minute to put a wrap on hour number 2 of Sports Time with Wallow and Stats.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Hey, what do you want to da-da-da? I don't know. What do y'all think we should da-da-da? Well, what did we da yesterday? Yesterday. All the dolls feel like the same doll these days. I know. Like, is today Monday or Tuesday? Today is Thursday. Oh, no, I forgot to call my mom on her birthday. Oh, no. No.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. That won't change. Not today or any day.
Quote today at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Wallow and Stats with you, trying to navigate through this Wednesday. I was looking at a story that was breaking and on The Athletic, and now I can't find it. I somehow lost it. But I think the Penn State coach is stepping down after there are allegations of abuse, sort of like the Greg Marshall story at Wichita State. Now, Greg Marshall has continued to deny, but it sure seems to me there's a lot of players who have come forward, and that is a real problem that he keeps his job.
I think the longer that he's not fired, the long game I think is in his favor with what he's done in victories as the reservoir of goodwill, unless they can get to the bottom of real evidence and real positivity that he was involved in that. But you're right. The Penn State coach, excuse me, Dave, I'm sorry. The Penn State coach is out.
He is out. I watched his team last year. I saw him play in the Barclays. I'm trying to remember who they played.
Played Ole Miss.
They played Ole Miss.
And blew the big lead.
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly right.
The win of the year for Ole Miss.
That really was a comeback because they were totally in control, and that was a Penn State team, if I recall correctly, that ended up.
Good team.
Yeah, they ended up. They would have made the tournament had there been a tournament.
Sure would have been. One of the tougher college basketball assignments ever is to be the basketball coach at Penn State, because we know it's
a football.
It's one of the ultimate football schools, and we also know that there are some niche college basketball programs sitting in the biggest area to recruit basketball players in the state, in Philadelphia, Villanova, Temple, that they're going to get the players before they go to state college.
I think if that is one
and
of
then
those that
real good.
That's sort of, I can relate to this with Memphis, but if you're a great basketball player in the city of Philadelphia, you got a bunch of different options to stay home and to be a star in your hometown. Whereas Penn State is going to get you if you're a football player in that same city.
And the all-time player from the city of Philadelphia, he went to Kansas, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. Today there was a Van Gundy who got hired. Yeah, I don't know why, but in my mind, I'm thinking Jeff Van Gundy is the better coach than his brother Stan. But it is Stan that got the job this week, or today. He is going to be the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans.
Tell me this, Dave. Tell me, if you're trying to sell that hire to people around town, to sponsors, to season ticket holders, what in the Stan Van Gundy resume do you circle and go, that's what he can bring to us in New Orleans?
You know what? That is the first thing I thought about. Here you've got this dynamic player in Zion, and you've got all this other young talent that is really good, and you're bringing in a guy who he was at Detroit. What did he do there?
Nothing.
Did he develop?
Went to the finals year 2 with Orlando with Dwight Howard.
Did he develop?
That's his best years.
Yeah, well, he sort of did, didn't he? For a little short period of time, he helped to develop the flopper. Played for the Clippers and they traded him to Detroit. And
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin, yeah. He did help to make him an all-star.
But his first round or not making either first round exit or not making the playoffs has really been what he does for you. I mean, I don't think he will be a good fit around town with those sponsors, season ticket holders, big money buyers, because of his personality. And I think he will quickly almost start the fight of, this is a football town.
I would say to you that I think that given the chance, he probably is pretty good face-to-face like he was on as a broadcaster. I mean, I think his brother was better.
Mike Fratello wasn't.
No, Mike Fratello was a really good TV guy that was a terrible one-on-one guy. You're right. So maybe I'm assuming that he would be just from that television persona. That's probably.
But let Zion do the selling.
Not fair.
That might be the sales marketing plan. Just let Zion sell.
But you got to find the guy that's going to really sort of relate to these young guys, and
got to win.
I don't see that in Stan Van Gundy.
I don't either, Dave.
You know,
now two jobs open: Oklahoma City and Houston.
Well, this goes back to what our friend Ron Tillery was saying yesterday. Some of these hires are really weird. Why wouldn't a guy? I'm serious now, and you know they don't know who Damon Stoudemire is in New Orleans anymore, probably. But Damon Stoudemire would take a young team. He'd get them excited.
But Dave, that's somebody's job to know that, to know somebody fresh instead of, well, we hadn't hired anybody yet. Who should we settle on? SVG, okay. See, he got a deal anywhere else? Let's hire him.
And frankly, from the two brothers, I think the better coach is Jeff Van Gundy. What he did with the Knicks, of course, he had maybe a little bit more talent than his brother there, but I've always thought he was actually a pretty decent coach.
I did too. I thought he was a better coach than I thought JVG was better than SVG.
I think we're on the same page with that one for sure. And you know, crazy what happens. That's the way it is. And you know, I keep getting excited about college basketball, but you realize Memphis plays in North Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in less than 5 weeks. Less than 5 weeks.
Month and 4 days.
On the 25th.
Yeah. I mean, it is here, and we don't have a schedule.
Nobody knows the schedule. Now,
But we are adaptable, Dave, and this year has proven it in scheduling. No more of this garbage of, well, we're talking and we got to work out the right city and the right arrangement and the right date and, you know, we got to have the odd month and an even day and stand on the right foot and look to the North Star. Yeah. We know that's garbage now. You can put a schedule together in 10 minutes if you need to.
Well, it's a little bit harder for Memphis because the dates have to be released by the Grizzlies, and at least Memphis has an excuse here.
That makes it hard.
The Grizzlies don't know what their schedule is going to be yet, especially in January when, if they start, Memphis is going to be in the middle of conference season. It really is a very, very tough situation. This portion of the show is brought to you by a very good situation. That is Supercuts, with 15 around town, and every one of them open with what they call the Safe Salon Commitment. That is a protocol that was developed in partnership with top infectious disease doctors. It maximizes safety and sanitization in every salon, and they got 15 of them in Memphis, all owned by the Czech family. And health and safety is important to them, for their employees, and for all their customers. They're ready. They've been open for a while. They've been seeing a lot of folks. If you're ready, all you got to do to learn more about the Safe Salon Commitment or to get ready for your visit is go to supercuts.com. 2 hours in the books. Third hour coming your way in a minute. Oh, this will be fun. Tim Brando from Fox Sports. He is next.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes ACQ fee, $10,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $6.50 acquisition fee, Forte ME $275,992, MSRP $20,510, Sol L706 $3372, MSRP $21,885, K5 MG 003,199, MSRP $25,725, K900 MSRP $65,610, L60 $26,907, L60 $21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax final license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Where can you find best mass market branded initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers? We Gossett and Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. Take your pick. 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. 2021 Kia K5 beats Toyota Camry with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume, plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. $189 a month lease for 36 months, all just $3149 due at signing. Plus 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So come get happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Services is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to operate on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and ask for the early bird special, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Family Leisure's done it again. We're talking about the world's biggest spa sale. Up to 30% off on spas and swim spas. Choose from hundreds of different spas from multiple manufacturers. There is special financing available, and if you are in the market, special pricing now as summer starts to dwindle on chemicals and accessories. Always professional delivery available. The spas are going crazy at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
The one and only Timmy B. He will be with us after I tell you about a lot, including FanDuel, and have fun with the World Series games like I did last night, like I'm going to tonight. Have fun with the NFL and the college slate all weekend. You can watch Tim Brando with Spencer Tillman on the Fox game Saturday when Oklahoma State hosts Iowa State. That'll be a fun game to lock in on because, hey, Tennessee sports betting, it's almost here in a FanDuel Sportsbook. It's giving you an exclusive offer to get started right now. FanDuel Sportsbook giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit just to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. Lock in on the Rays tonight. They're not going down 2-0. That's what I'm going to lock in on my FanDuel Sports app. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel, they get you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and it expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-899-9789. Tim Brando coming up after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's the great people at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Check them out online, all the referrals and all the beautiful cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you will be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, down-home environment. They do care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in, within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there. We're living in a world today that time matters. They know that at DeSoto Auto Sales. 45 minutes or less over your lunch hour or immediately after work at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We are rapidly approaching the end of this middle of the week. It's been a gorgeous day here, hot, 84 degrees. And I've got to let people know who are listening on Sports 56 on the 560 AM frequency. I know. We have moved from 87.7 FM. We've been telling you about this now for a few weeks. We're so happy we have two great FM signals, 98.5, 98.5, and 96.1. So if you've been listening to us on 87.7, I know there is Christmas music being played, and we appreciate you listening there too on occasion, but we are now 98.5, which you're going to love that signal, and 96.1 too, both really good FM signals. In the meantime, our good friend from down in Louisiana, Tim Brando from Fox Sports, you've seen him for years. I was just so worried about you, Tim, when there was no Pac-12 football or no Big Ten football, which begins this week. I mean, I was just thinking this poor guy, he's just not going to make it.
I'm fine. Doing just fine. And got some good Big 12 to do this weekend with Oklahoma State and Iowa State, number 6 and number 17. But since you're moving frequencies, you said 98.5.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day, I worked at K-Rock, which was the perfect call letters ever, KROK.
Yeah.
94.5. We called it 94.5, which I believe was the distance Major Ogilvy was trying to go when I fell in love with Keith Jackson on the third Saturday of October, when, according to General Nealon, the boys become men when the leaves begin to turn in the rivalry that is Tennessee and Alabama. On Cumberland Avenue they go, the Ball Navy making their way in. Tennessee has won the toss, have elected to kick off, and back deep is Major Ogilvy, a 47th semester junior for Alabama. Hant Green will kick it away. It comes down to Ogilvy at the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20. Sees the picket fence at the 25. Down the sidelines, the 30. Reverses field against the green at midfield. The 40, the 30, the 25. He's inside the 20, the 15, the 10. He's hit and cracked, and he fumbles. Alabama got it, oh boy. There you go. I thought I'd do that for you since it's the third Saturday of October.
It is.
I thought I'd do that for you. Just
Well,
because
it's Tennessee
I love you,
and
Dave,
Bama.
and I love you, Brett. Yeah.
It's Tennessee and Bama, but it's one of those weird years where it's really on the fourth Saturday in October. And Major Ogilvy may have been the greatest. He may have been the greatest slow player ever.
Well, Hokie Gajan was his equal, I think, at LSU. They both had great careers, and not one.
They weren't
play-by-play
speedsters.
guy. Not even Keith could get Hokie's name right. God rest his soul. And back deep from Baker, Louisiana, is Hokie Cajun. Back deep for the LSU.
You better read that phonetic chart when you do an LSU game.
So
it's great to be with both of you.
What is it
Great
like
to hear
down
you
there
two,
now
Dave.
with all the basking in the glory of a championship and then the wheels just absolutely coming off?
Well, I mean, Dave, the COVID year is sort of a one-off year anyway. I mean, it really is. All of us, I think, recognize.
Yep, I agree.
How different it is. I mean, I'm in the middle of my conference call with Iowa State today on my iPad, and my phone dings from Fox telling me that they just got my rapid test results and I'm negative, so I get to work. We're doing it every week. We're talking to coaches on Friday who are sweating out how many guys are going to be positive, perhaps, on the from the Thursday testing. Generally speaking, they're getting tested on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And that last one, you just don't know. And it's affected everybody. Now, look, it's not just about that. I mean, look, they lost Joe Brady. They lost Aranda to becoming a head coach. Then you lose, 15 of your starting 22. your great back, a generational quarterback. They lost a ton, but they're still good. They're better than they've performed. But keeping young guys engaged when it hasn't gone well, particularly guys that feel like they have an NFL future, it's day to day. Saying it's week to week, it's really more like day to day. During the COVID era with all teams, but particularly high-profile teams like LSU. What happened in that game with Mississippi State was pretty clear. Bo Pelini is a 4-3 guy, and LSU was trying to convert from 3-4 to 4-3, and he played press man coverage against the mad scientist. The Pirate he lapped that up. I mean, Mississippi State had LSU looking like Hank Stram's call of the Vikings defense in Super Bowl 4, I believe it was, when you said, "Yeah, look at Katsulki out there. It looks like a Chinese fire drill." I mean, they were grasping for air. They didn't know what they were doing, and it showed up again at Missouri. And more of their problems are defense than offense, I think. I actually think Miles Brennan has performed admirably. Those size 32s that he was trying to step in of Burrows were pretty big. Now, they've got issues at quarterback with his health this week, so who knows what might happen with South Carolina, but I think LSU's going to be fine. It's just they had a whole lot of cosmetic changes happening in the middle of an international pandemic, which was going to alter everybody's lifestyle to some extent. So I think that's what's going on there. And as I've said many times, I think that just when you think you've figured it out, especially with the COVID era, things can change when you get a bad test on Friday afternoon with your game plan for Saturday. And coaches are having to sweat this out week in and week out. And that's why you see, Alabama get torched the way it did by Ole Miss, and that same Ole Miss team has 6 picks thrown by a quarterback that looked like the second coming of Burrow a week earlier.
Yeah, and the day-by-day thing, you're right, with testing, but also, and this has affected the University of Memphis now unexpectedly last week at the beginning of the season. You have to take into account opt-outs, which is why you're right. This is a year that almost doesn't count.
Well, I don't. You're right. I don't ever want to say that on the air because it matters too much to the people that are playing it and watching it. But I hear what you're saying. And I hear fans get upset with coaches and say, "Get him out of there." I mean, you realize how much your school is hemorrhaging money right now? I mean, even with the season being played, most of these schools at Power 5 conferences are going to lose somewhere between $20 to $50 million this year. I mean, without the gate, that's huge losses. And to make a change and to buy out a coach's contract and pay him off, $12 million over a 3-year period or 2-year period, that's just a public relations nightmare. So you're going to see a lot more conservatism when it comes to reacting to, the fans that are going nuts on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else. I mean, we're looking at a sport that needs to just get to 2021 as quickly as it can.
So well put, Tim. Just get to next year, and this year kind of that bridge year to stay in business. Your game Saturday, you and Spencer Tillman will be on the call for Iowa State and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's still undefeated. They have the great tailback Chubba Hubbard, and on the other side, Brock Purdy at quarterback for Iowa State. To the victor will go the spoils out of this game. It'll be kind of the leader in the Big 12, and one of those two stars probably will be in some, at minimum, loose Heisman conversation, won't they?
Yeah, well, were it not for that really horrible performance against Louisiana Lafayette in the opener against Iowa State, Purdy was awful that day, and so was Iowa State. They did have a lot of COVID issues, by the way. Almost didn't play the game, but that's not to take anything away from the Raging Cajuns. They're really good. Won 11 games last year, and short of a narrow loss to a really good Coastal team a week ago, Wednesday, I think. That was a great game. Anybody that watched it knows those are really good teams. I had seen Coastal against Kansas earlier in the year, and they blew them out in Lawrence. Now, I know it's Kansas, but Coastal blew them out. I mean, it wasn't close. So, look, Iowa State is everything I thought they would be. since that game. And Purdy, I thought, was a sleeper pick for the Heisman. In a league that's all about Oklahoma and Texas, it seems, the next new quarterback there, plus Sam Ehlinger, bringing Texas back to the promised land for, I don't know, the 19th time in his 5-year career. No one else, they suck up all of the attention, and really good teams like Iowa State, like Kansas State, like Oklahoma State are overlooked. The real key in the game, I think, coming up on Saturday will be the two defenses. And no one suggests that defense is played in the Big 12. And yet, if you've seen Kansas State play, and I did, they beat TCU at home a couple of weeks back, they're really good defensively. Iowa State's returning 9 of 11 starters to their defense. Oklahoma State's got 8 starters back to their defense. They're good. And, trying to keep these teams from having explosive plays when you've got, really good running backs that can break it at any time. You mentioned Chuba Hubbard. L.D. Brown, his backup, has actually been the more explosive of the two in the games they played. And Breece Hall, who's come in for David Montgomery, who's now in the NFL, and Kene Nwangwu are two great backs that Purdy's got to work with. So, these are two teams that are ranked number 6 and number 17, and I bet you could talk to most college football followers, just followers, and ask them to name 3 guys that are going to be playing in that game. And after Purdy and maybe Chuba Hubbard, they couldn't name anybody.
I agree.
They couldn't name anybody. They're anonymous teams because in college football, and this is a byproduct of the decrepit job the electronic media has done covering college football in recent years, especially daytime, weekly national television shows on mainstream cable. College football is an afterthought. So all you hear about are the brand names. And this is also a byproduct of the college football playoff, where the narrative is, well, it's Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State whenever they start. Hell, and they're ranked now, but even the AP ranks them. What a travesty. We haven't even seen a jock strap put on in the Big Ten, and you're ranking teams? Really? Makes no sense. These are really good football teams that are continually overlooked. And it's not just about the group of 5, fellas. We can howl to, you know how I feel about Memphis and teams out of the American Conference. Certainly in the Sun Belt, the job Coastal has done, Louisiana Lafayette, we've already seen some big wins. But, there are teams in the Power 5 that don't get attention. And these two are primary ones, Oklahoma State and Iowa State.
I think you're spot on with that, but I will give you a note that I started the show off because it was really a note to the Big 12 I was trying to point out.
He did. 2 hours and 16 minutes ago, Timmy B. He did.
Last Saturday, Memphis UCF, group of 5, in the same time slot, that's 2:30 on a Saturday Central Time on ABC. Memphis drew a 1-1 rating with the Knights. The week before that was Texas Tech and the Iowa State team you're going to see this weekend, and they drew a 0.9. So the group of 5 actually, by a fifth of a point here, outdrew the Big 12.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Lack of promotion. People don't know where the games are. The only promos that you see for college football games are the big primetime games involving the big primetime brand names that are associated with the college football playoff. Okay, who's Clemson going to route? Who's Alabama going to route? Who's Ohio State going to route? Oh, we got some really competitive games here, and they may even be on after those games are played, and you don't hear anything about them. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing to me. College football makes up how much of the television programming on cable television, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, all day, all night. Yet you turn on your TV Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for this embrace debate drivel. And if somebody, has a toenail out of whack in the NFL, they'll talk 30 minutes about it. And how many more LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan conversations do we need to hear from an NBA that's ratings have been in the tank all year long?
And I don't mean to get you in trouble, but I think it's a fair question. If you do look, there are devoted college preview shows on both ESPN and
God,
and
yes.
on CBS.
Saturdays is awesome.
Well,
Saturdays
no. But I'm talking about in the middle of the week, they have a college football program. And then CBS Sports does it with guys that you've worked with before. But
nobody's getting CBS Sports Network. It's got CBS Sports Network, unfortunately, has distribution problems.
Okay.
I mean, it just does. But you can't get it anywhere.
But when
I had a radio show that was televised on CBS Sports Network, they don't even buy the Nielsen's there.
Huh.
So you don't get a rating. I mean, God bless them. They're great. I love those shows. But you have to search, Dave, to find. When I talk about mainstream media, and listen, I'm talking about FS1 as much as I'm talking about ESPN.
Well, that's where
I'm going. The daytime programming. If you watch the daytime programming Monday through Friday, college football is a blip on the radar screen. Hell, there's probably more conversation about college football when it's canceled or postponed because of COVID than it is when it's played.
True. Fair. That is very fair. I agree with that. I just don't see FS1 doing a college football show, and they've got a lot of properties.
Well, you know what? Joel Klatt does a show that it's actually on foxsports.com, and I think they air it some during the week in the huddle with Joel, and he does a great job. But no, you're right. I mean, there needs to be more. How many more NFL shows can you see? Or NBA shows can you see?
And covering the backup deep snapper. You're right, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, college football, and part of this, by the way, is not the network's fault. All right? College football has done this to itself with a corrupt system.
True.
That has enabled the entire narrative all season long to be who's in. Who's in every week? Who is in? That Ohio State's in. They haven't even played. Okay? So all we need to talk about, in other words, if we dumb the conversation down to 5 or 6 teams, then we really don't have to work that hard, do we? So let's not cover all of college football. Let's just cover the name brands that we know the committee will look at. And you know what? We're going to be half right every year because Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, unless they really screw up, are going to be in. And then we'll take the second SEC team, whoever that is, to Alabama.
Right.
I mean, that is what we have dumbed down the narrative to in college football.
And
At least when we had the BCS, Dave, when we had the BCS and there was criteria and there were computers involved, Boise State was a factor. I mean, they were a real factor. They had a missed field goal and a Colin Kaepernick loss in Nevada, or they would have been in 2 BCS championship games. There's no threat of that with this current system.
Absolutely right.
Beauty pageant.
And they drew it up that way.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they drew it up to ignore half of the FBS conferences that are in there. Half of it.
Exactly. And the only way we're going to get this changed, and again, I sound like I'm being critical of my own industry. To some extent I am. But what I'm telling you is college football has done this to itself. It's lost its mojo. Think about how much conversation there was during the BCS era about college football. There was a lot. And one of the reasons there was a lot was the Boise State factor. Oh, everybody hated Boise State, just like everybody hated UCF a few years ago when they went undefeated. Well, you got to have a threat to the big boys to engage the rest of the country. There's no reason for people in certain parts of the country to care about college football because they know they're not dumb. They understand who's going to get in every year. We're ranking teams that aren't even playing in the AP poll. And I know that's not a part of the system, but don't tell me the AP poll doesn't have influence.
So
anybody that is voting in the AP poll that is putting Ohio State in the top 3 before they've even played, you got to be kidding me. That just shows you're complicit to the corrupt nature of the sport.
Oh, I love it. So double the playoff teams to 8. Make sure one of them is a seed for the best group of 5, highest rated group of 5 champion, however the heck you want to put the group of 5 in. Does that help?
Yes. And you guarantee champions. And by the way, if somebody says, well, what if there's a 3-loss champion that wins the championship game? Okay, fine. We'll allow the committee to gerrymander it and say, you know what? If you've lost 3 games and you just happen to win the title game, we reserve the right to replace you with one of your brethren that has a better record. And if they deem that necessary, go right ahead. Okay?
Makes too much sense, Tim.
We got to find a way to get college football. I mean, it's got great ratings. It's the number 2 sport in America in terms of television ratings. on a regular basis, even with the ratings down, which they are about 40% across the board in a COVID football season, okay, and everybody's ratings are down, okay, and college football is no different. But it's still number 2, all right, to the NFL. It is. And yet, sports that are far below college football are being talked about ad nauseum all day, every day. And it's just amazing to me how we overlook it. And stories like the Joe Moglio story at Coastal Carolina, what he did to infuse them, barely got into FBS, and look what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Those stories just get dusted under the rug every year. And as I said before, Brock Purdy is playing as well and has been really for the last couple of years. He's playing as well as guys like Ellinger.
Keep
Certainly
talking, brother.
Keep
Keep talking, brother Brando. We're all for you. Last thing, and I got about a minute and a half.
Yep.
What about basketball? We were just talking. The Tigers are supposed to play in South Dakota in basically less than 5 weeks, and there's no schedule other than those games. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I haven't even gone there yet. From what I understand, and I've reached out to some people that would know a little something about the scheduling, we're all sort of waiting it out and determining, can we across the board start? Can we actually start, you know, Thanksgiving week, 24th, 25th, somewhere in there of November? Yep. And can we get 5 non-conference games in to go along with our conference schedule? The whole idea of the bubble that was floated around, that's not happening. And there was no feasible way for that to happen. I think there's just the reason why you're not hearing much is because they're waiting to figure out just what their modus operandi will be. They had to wait, Dave, to some extent to see what Danny Gavitt and the NCAA's thoughts were going to be, because unlike college football, they do have to adhere to that. You know, the big kahuna is the tournament at the end of the year. So I think getting those minds with the NCAA minds, and by the way, as much crap as the NCAA gets, Dan Gavitt loves the game and I know wants to do the right thing by it. But I think we're going to get it in, but we're just going to find out about it a little bit sort of at the 11th hour. I think they're waiting for the 11th hour because they want the narrative to be the same across the board, and right now it's not.
He's preaching the gospel, ladies and gentlemen. That is the one and only Tim Brando. We got to do this more often. Thank you, my friend. Have a great call this weekend.
Happy to do it, fellas. Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim Brando.
Terrific.
From Fox Sports. Brought to you in part by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Right down the road. You just get on Lamar and you get to State Line Road. It becomes Highway 78. You know that's on the way to Birmingham. You've been on it a million times, but you go like nothing. Boop! You're right there at the very first exit. That's Craft Road. You turn left. You go see Chris True and all the gang. They've been together for 13 years selling cars. That product is so good, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car, every new Hyundai, every new Genesis, and they throw in a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every one of those new cars. That could be a Santa Fe, it could be my Sonata. I got a 21 Sonata with technology so cool that I can literally get out of my car, use my key fob, and park the car. Now, I'm not sure when the heck I ever will use that, but I could do it. And the safety, well, you know, Hyundais, they were tied for the most number of top safety pick vehicles in 2020. And all of these 21 models have arrived, like my Sonata, like the new Santa Fe. The G cars are there. They're expecting the new G SUV, the Genesis SUV, coming any day now. You need to just really go see for yourself what I am talking about. They have set the standard. They have raised the bar for the way car business should be done. Even those certified pre-owns, which, by the way, across America, they say the best certified pre-owned program is Hyundai. And the best one around this town is Homer Skelton Hyundai. For 12 years now, they've been the number one dealership in selling certified pre-owned cars. Please go see what I'm talking about. See my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. There was a press conference today by the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. There's a little bad news with it, but good news too. And Steve Earhart, the big cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, will tell you all about it in just a minute.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Now that the storm has passed, Lowe's is ready to move home forward. Our Pro Team is here for your Pro Team every step of the way. We have the essentials to repair and rebuild, to get homes and neighborhoods back up and running. It's what we do, what we've always done, what we'll continue to do. We also offer job site delivery to save you valuable time. Find what you need in-store or 24/7 at lowesforpros.com. Lowe's, because now more than ever before, home unites us.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't. And thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes ACQ fee, $10,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $6.50 acquisition fee, Forte ME $275,992, MSRP $20,510, Soul L706 $3372, MSRP $21,885, K5 MG 003,199, MSRP $25,725, K900 MSRP $65,610, L60 $26,907, L60 $21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax final license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Where can you find best mass market branded initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers? We Gossett and Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. Take your pick, 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. 2021 Kia K5 beats Toyota Camry with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume, plus a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. $189 a month lease for 36 months, all just $31.49 due at signing. Plus 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So come get happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Well, with much of life, there's good news and there's bad news. So today, we found out no AutoZone Liberty Bowl high school football game. That's the bad news. Good news is they're going to have this NFL-style combine. The Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, joins us to talk about the business of bowls in this time slot every week. And now he's got actually a story to talk to us about. So this is for the 35 Shelby County schools that you're partnering with here and the other 19 that have always been a part of this makeup for the game, but now for sort of an NFL-style combine?
That's right, David. We're real proud to be able to do it. It's certainly a challenging time this year, and you can't always do everything. So with the challenges and the obstacles there and the 35 of the Shelby County schools that were not playing football, there were 19 of what we call the the municipal schools and the private schools like the Christian Brothers, MUS, Bartlett, Arlington, Houston High School, so on. They're playing, and making sure that all the safety protocols were in place, trying to get a limited number of players. And the Shelby County guys didn't even have their equipment. So this, I think, is the best resolution to having that. We expect 500 to 600 young student athletes from all those 54 high schools. If they want to come out and show their skills, get the timing, get their strength and agility skills, and it'll be held at the Liberty Bowl Stadium on November 13th and 14th, and we'll kind of imitate the NFL-style combine. Just like you said, we'll have coaches all over the field at various stations. Everything will be videotaped, and every single participant will have a chance to have his own 5-minute video, which he can then send off to coaches at various colleges. We'll invite as many college coaches as we can to view that, and then we'll have every player will have that. And best of all, there'll be no charge. A lot of these combines around the country, there are big fees that the players have to pay to go to, and they're going to bring down, and again, thanks to the help with the Shelby County Schools, bring down the Rivals company that does for Rivals around the country. A lot of sports people understand that Rivals does a lot of this kind of evaluating work. So we're pleased. We're certainly sorry that this would be the 19th straight AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Game. And Dave, I believe 20 years ago you were on the original committee when we brought together the then city and county schools and private schools and started this great tradition, which is unbelievable in its success. And I just want to say for a minute, when we started that, if you might remember, Dave, there were usually about 10 or 12 local Memphis Metro players that were getting scholarships to go on to further their education in college. And then once we brought together all the schools and showcased them, gave them a chance to play against each other, got the college coaches to start paying attention. These last 3 years, we've averaged over 50 young senior players get scholarships to go on to college. And there's the great success stories of Anthony Miller. Remember when he was 5'9" and 170 pounds, and nobody was even asking him to be a walk-on. And after we called the University of Memphis and said, "Hey, this kid's tougher than anybody else. He catches everything inside, and he's playing against the big guys." And sure enough, then he got a walk-on deal, which led to a scholarship, which led to All-America to the Chicago Bears field. And so there are really some great success stories like that. But 50 young student athletes from Memphis to get scholarships. And so we hope that the college coaches will pay attention to this combine. We could have nearly 500 to 600 young men come out, and especially the schools like we've talked to Rodney Salisbury, the great coach at Whitehaven. And, Rodney will be bringing both his junior and senior players. They'll all get evaluated. They'll all have their own personal video that they can utilize as they aspire to go on to college. So we're excited about it. Sorry that we can't have the game, but I think this will be the best resolution in a difficult year.
And, Steve, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody, more than somebody. It's going to be a lot of somebodies. I'm not being overly dramatic with this. Life-changing for them. This is the route to go to college and play college football, and who knows beyond that? It might end up like Anthony Miller with a big old game check every Tuesday morning.
Well, let me just say that if you watch the Cowboys Monday night game, in that game were 3 guys who played in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star game. They were Dontari Poe, Tony Pollard, and Cedric Wilson. 3 guys in one NFL game have played in that game. I want to clarify some stuff with you, though. Who sets up the combine? Is it Rivals that is doing this? Who tapes it? Who's paying for it?
Yeah, this company, they're headquartered in Chicago, actually. They do all the work for Rivals around the country. So we wanted to make sure, and again, I give hats off to the Shelby County school system because they're covering the cost of bringing them down. They'll be flying down, bringing all their equipment, all their video equipment, their their videograph folks, and then we'll have a lot of the area high school coaches, much like we've had in our All-Star game, that volunteer to help run the various stations. So, Dave, when we get you lined up at the 40-yard dash, we'll have a coach with a stopwatch, or maybe we need a.
Will you have a medic?
A sundial for Dave.
Sundial here, maybe for Dave,
and a medic.
Yeah, and a medic. But no, I think this will be. and it'll be a great chance to kind of bring together and some healing. All these young student athletes that missed their season. But you're right, Dave. What a tribute to the Memphis area to see those three players, all from Memphis. Dante Poe, who was at Wooddale, and then the two Melrose kids, Pollard and Wilson, and see three players off of America's national team there of the Dallas Cowboys, all from Memphis, and all played in our AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star game. So it's something that I think has been terrific and inspire young people. And what is so important too is the role models for the younger players coming up. Remember at our games, we'd have all those 9th, 10th graders, 11th graders coming out to watch, and then they would aspire to do well in school so that they would be eligible and then pursue some of those dreams. And it's certainly, there's a lot of other side positive effects of the camaraderies between the players. And again, so we hope that this 2-day event at Liberty Bowl Stadium, and I really appreciate Mayor Jim Strickland and the help with the stadium, and then Conway Services, one of our great sponsors that's helping us out there. But we'll have shirts and articles for all the players, and hopefully this will be a way to cap off a difficult season for these young men.
And Steve, the business of the bowls, I mean, it rolls on. I'm not going to ask you about a TV time or an announced date. I've asked you that enough, and you've been patient with that. It's coming soon, and we all know that this is a lot. We just talked to Tim Brando about the college basketball schedule. Everything is at the last minute, and it's all in italics. It all is subject to change.
Well, we do have a little news on that. We had a Zoom call today with all the other bowls, our Football Bowl Association and the NCAA and ESPN, and it was kind of a big seminal meeting there today. And so we got word that this Friday the Bowl Association, which is 40 of us that are out there, and we're banding together, and we'll be rebranding, I guess. It'll be the bowl season. So trying to market the whole national image of the bowls, and then the ESPN guys are telling us that they will have by next week, they'll have the schedule. I think they're just waiting. I think there's a few of the bowl games that ESPN actually owns. They own 17 of those games outright that, maybe are in a little bit different marketplaces that I think they're still trying to work out, and then getting all the schedules. But I believe that we're still, targeted for December 31st, which is our traditional, afternoon of New Year's Eve there for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, our 62nd straight year. So we expect to have that schedule, and we talked again to the Big 12 and the SEC last week as well, and everybody is excited, and I say that sincerely. I know everybody's worrying about week to week, getting in the game, how to handle, if somebody tests positive, and what happens with the quarantining. But I think because they've kind of scratched their way through the season, they're all looking forward to having that one last game. We're talking about the finish to a tough season there, and the camaraderie, and especially those senior players, that'll be playing their last game to have a reward in a bowl experience. So again, thanks to all our great corporate partners here in Memphis that have stood tall with us while we're going through this challenging year. But we look forward to having a great 62nd AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December 31st.
Steve, we talk about the business of the game, so I'm not just referring to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl when I say this, but I am going to ask you a business question here for the bowls. And that is, you've got your sponsors that are standing by you. That is terrific. You will still have your television money as a revenue stream. That is terrific. At this point, you would be lucky to get 15,000 fans in, and I'm suspecting that that'll be the case. Maybe 25% of the ticket revenue stream that bowls get for their games would be coming in. So that's a 75% revenue stream loss in attendance. How will that affect the payouts to the teams? Is the bowl going to just bite it and still pay these hard-pressed athletic departments, or is there going to be a reduction?
Oh, that's an excellent question, Dave. And we've certainly battened down our hatches and been careful with our dollars, and so we're going to be very solid, again, especially because of the great local support. If we only have 12 to 15,000 in the stadium on December 31st, we're going to be solid and sound and fiscally strong. As to the question around the country, there have been discussions already with, in our case, 3 conferences, the Big 12, the SEC, and the American, of course, Memphis being a member of the American, about readjusting the payouts because exactly what you said, if there's going to be significantly less revenue because of fewer fans in the stands. And I think so far the conferences no deals have been struck at this point, but there's certainly been a discussion like if we can't have as many fans, then obviously the payouts have to be adjusted as well. And there's been open and good discussion, and I think within the next month or so, I think we'll probably get those discussions pinned down. Because you're right, if the teams are not going to have as many fans coming here, that certainly affects everything that we do. But I think they're dedicated enough to having a good quality season that we'll be able to work that out. Certainly in the case of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, we know we'll be able to work it out. There may be a couple other bowl games. I worry a little bit, my friends out at the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, because at the present time, California is so crazy now. You can't even have Thanksgiving dinner, can you, out there in California?
Right.
But so they may have 0 fans out there, and so that would be something that I can't really answer for them. But you're right, Dave. There's been open discussions about adjusting the payouts at the various bowl games.
If you can ballpark me, we'll just go very round numbers here. Say a bowl payout is $1 million for a school. What do you think ballpark that cut would be? 750, 500? What do you think it ends up being?
Well, that's a pretty low payout. We're up there.
No, I know that. I'm trying to make it easy.
I would say
percentage.
I would say that I think. Again, please, whoever's listening, don't hold me to this, but I think you can see 25, 30% reductions coming, and there may be some types of revenue share situations depending on how many fans you have. But that's why we're, again, so thankful and proud that all our key sponsors have stepped right up and say this AutoZone Liberty Bowl has been such an important part of the community. It's important to everything we do, the St. Jude, the patriotic theme, and showcasing Memphis, the rest of the country, and the things we're doing like with this high school combine. So nobody has backed off. I guess there's a few. There was the company that brings in our high school bands from out of town. They of course have basically they've been just squelched this year because of the travel issues. But generally, all our local corporate partners have stood tall, and so we'll be just fine. But I think that's just my own personal prognostication from talking to some of the other bowls that you could see those kinds of adjustments to the payouts.
Good newsworthy stuff today. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
Good. And, Dave, thank you again. You were one of the key founding members of the AutoZone Libertyville High School All-Star Game, so thank you again for your leadership in that area.
I remember that first meeting. You, me, Wayne Whedon, Stan Collins, Bobby Alston. Who am I missing?
The coach was Cox there, Paul Cox from Collierville?
From Collierville, who's no longer with us. Yeah, that's right. That was the original group. Thank you, man. We appreciate it. We got to run. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
That is Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, brought to you in part by the Memphis Tourism and Sports Council. Oh, I can't wait for next year when we get all back our world-famous music and food like the way that this group, Kevin Kane and Melvin Gibson and J.J. Greer, they bring really it's become a global destination for sporting events, whether it's the FESJC, now the World Golf Invitational, or the Southern Heritage Classic, or that new, which we missed this year, that St. Jude Ironman 70.3. They are responsible. They're working on that Sports Hall of Fame, and, of course, that's come to a little slow crawl here while we get through this pandemic, but they really do still work year-round to bring visitors and sporting events to our community, and they're the ones that bring you guys like Mike DeCourcy, who'll be rejoining us soon, and Steve Earhart every week on Sportstime on Sports 56. Thank you, Memphis Tourism and Sports Council. Back with Crunch Time in just a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home. at 98.5.
It's back. The Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for the new items, we've discounted a number of short sleeve plaids and t-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or someone else for the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. All this month, we are including a buy one, get one half price sale on all novelty t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. On the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Picking up an online order? No problem. It'll just be a moment. You know, we've got more convenient ways to shop besides our same-day store pickup. You can also shop from your car with our free curbside pickup. Or you can even shop completely from home with our free next-day delivery. Just order by 10 p.m. on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We beat with the deal, we get insane.
Well, it was pretty chilly last Saturday. Now it's gotten warm again, but it's going to be fall again this Saturday. They're saying high in the mid-60s for the Tiger game with Temple. James Davis is helping celebrate game day openers with 20% off all fall merchandise starting from now until the end of October. The end of October is getting quick, so start thinking about getting to see my friends in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. James Davis has sports shirts, sweaters, active tops, perfect for those cool nights that we now eat outside. If you're going to a restaurant, you're on a patio, have they got some cool things for you? All new 5-pocket brush cotton pants, tons of new denim. Now, I have started to make all of my clothes custom fit to get the right fit. And that's Stant Custom Shirt Pant System with 3 measurements. And then you get the perfect either shirt or pair of pants within a week. And it's 20% off. It's a must try. It'll completely change the feel that you have in clothes. I promise you, Stant is a whole new thing. And guess what? It's the only place that you can get Stant is James Davis. And you still have to look good on Zoom calls, right? They'll make you look good, I promise. And the greatest deal on the planet is still the 2 Paul Betenley suits for only $7.95. Unheard of deals through October 31st at James Davis. So please get moving. It's crunch time.
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Boop! Get you!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. I learned again today that unfortunately Rob Manfred is still commissioner of baseball. And extra innings next year will again be T-ball rules. He said people was wildly enthusiastic about it. I don't know one that's wildly enthusiastic about it. And then he said if you saw it in action this year, when he saw it, he saw people that saw it in action, they were positive. Nobody was at any games. How'd they see anything in action?
That's a good question. And while they're allowed to come in now, they don't have it now. So no one has seen it in person except the players themselves. And I haven't heard them weigh in. I can tell you as a fan for 60-something years, I think it stinks. I don't mind the playoffs. I don't like starting extra innings on second base. I learned today there is a young lady named Claire Hollingsworth. She is a tiny golfer, a freshman at St. Benedict High School with Brett, the most beautiful swing. And she is featured in this ad campaign that the LPGA is putting on called LPA Drive On Championship, and this commercial is running on Golf Channel. If you get a chance to see it, just this beautiful little tiny girl, Claire Hollingsworth. Remember that name. You can see her on Golf Channel right now.
Could have done without the Georgia coaches. They made a terrible camp decision naming DeJuan Mathis starter, pulled him at halftime against Arkansas, put in Stetson Bennett. Where is JT Daniels? He has to be hurt. Or is he just not that good? Because if he was, and he's not hurt, he should be out there by now for Georgia.
Well,
what is it you could have done with that?
Maybe he's opted out, too. Yeah, that's the other thing. You never know with what's going on. I could have done without, I guess, the way this whole thing is unraveled in Miami. And I kind of think it's unfair to Tua as well, but today, the day after Brian Flores said that they were going to replace Ryan Fitzpatrick with Tua, the old quarterback, the old veteran goes, I was shocked by it. It definitely caught me off guard. It was a hard thing for me to hear yesterday. Just kind of still digesting the news. My heart just hurt all day. It was heartbreaking for me. Flo, that's Brian Flores, kind of said what he said and said what he said to you guys as well, and that's the decision and the direction the organization is going in. And now he's worried he'll never play another down in the National Football League. It's been a good career for
Poor
him.
Harvard guy. Can't catch a break.
I kind of feel bad for him.
What a shame.
He was playing.
Bama privilege again.
Hey, can I tell you something? Do you know what his rank of NFL quarterbacks when it comes to QBR was 6 weeks into the season?
Good.
7th best quarterback in the NFL. You would have thought, wait, come on. Wait a few more weeks. See what happens.
Keep an eye tonight on Game 2 of the World Series in Arlington. That's about as close as Texas will get to a championship in anything this year. Blake Snell versus Tony Gonsolin. Remember when Blake Snell wasn't going to play this year?
Right.
Now he's starting in the World Series.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
I need to think before you speak.
Well, he was trying to get more money when he was talking about that, don't you remember?
And he got it.
So it worked out okay, and now he's in a World Series. And he is the Rays' big hope tonight. We'll all be watching that. We want to thank T.J. Reeves, Barrett Jones, Rick Horrow, Tim Brando. Wasn't he terrific? And we got all that news today from Steve Earhart. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great night, everybody.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call